Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Hey guys, the crossover is powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
No.
What a pro. What a pro.
He is doing.
That's what they call me,
stuff.
Matt McPro.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've spent some time
I'm
with
a
him
professional. I have grown in steps of being a professional over the last 6 months.
Thanks, Chris. Bye. There is Chris Prudon, the executive
Something.
everything.
Yeah. The executive.
It's Chris Prudon season.
Do you know what Chris Prudon does? He gets stuff done.
Yeah, that's. His
Let me
job
tell
title.
you what, man. When I think of guys who get things done, I think of Chris Prudon, man.
True story. Chris and I have spent a lot of time together. True story. I saved his job.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We had a former general manager here that quizzed both Damon and myself about, is he very important at the College World Series?
Oh, I remember
And
this.
we both went,
Yeah.
he is the College World Series. Well, I'm not sure. And then
am
we had the
the
discussion
Senate.
about hours and stuff. Yeah. And look, the most important
Billable
person
hours.
of anybody at the College World Series is still with us.
Chris Prudon. Chris
He's alive.
Chris Prudon just goes to the NCAA tournament and calls me and goes, "Do you want any merch?" He goes to the Super Bowl and calls me, "You want any merch?" He's in Nashville. He goes, "Hey, you want anything?"
Take advantage of it.
It's what Chris Prudon. I have taken advantage of it.
Fantastic.
And I get discounts. Shout out, Chris.
I don't have my Gary and Livy
it's
graphic anymore.
It's in there.
Chris Prudon actually was responsible for the greatest gift that I've ever given somebody, because Chris gave me confetti to when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. He grabbed the confetti, he put it into a little box, and then I gave that box of confetti to an Eagles fan. And that Eagles fan nearly cried when they saw the box of confetti.
Wow, look at that. That's pretty good.
So shout out Chris Prudon.
I
have my friendship now with my besties even greater.
Hey, so I'm coming over here.
Gary found it.
Gary's doing something.
I don't.
Oh, I'm not on
computer.
I'm not on
Yeah.
the camera. You got to show it to that one.
Oh my!
Show it to that one.
How come you're not on the camera? Your show's starting.
I don't know. Josh is in
All right.
control.
Hold on. Come over to Josh. Come over to Josh.
Yeah, come on over, Gary.
All right, here we go.
What do you got for the
Gary's on
people?
the screen.
Chris and Livy. Look at that.
What a beautiful couple.
Wow.
That's a great picture.
Yeah.
Of Livy.
You know, if you were like 3 inches taller, I think you might have her.
I think she's.
That's.
I
I'm
heard she's
telling you,
coming
man.
back. She
I'm
loves the
telling
College World
you. You got a
Series.
shot. You got the beard. You just need a little bit of acne and to be 6'5".
He does have acne.
Skeens has acne.
Yeah.
All right. He's got major acne.
Well,
he
he's
gives me
young.
hope.
He's young enough to get it.
He's a baby boy.
He's got. Clearly doesn't do anything for it, because if you use the Proactive face wash, even not the acne remover, it does wonders for you.
He's
I'm
23.
actually using the Rock skincare routine right now. The Rock at Target sells this little
I didn't like
lotion
it.
bottle.
Oh, is
You
that
didn't-
where you dip your face into that expensive
No,
water?
it's,
No. That's Ashton Hall.
Yeah.
The
It's
Rock.
It actually has worked for me. I'm using it.
The Rock has a Samoan based cream that you can.
Papatui.
Yeah, Papatui.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing.
Samoan-based
So, Chris also got us in trouble at the College World Series one year because we were taking pictures with people on the field, local radio people, and we got on the video board as the 3 best friends.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That can't happen. Not allowed.
You know what? We're able to sneak a lot of stuff through the higher ups in the video room at the College World Series.
Yeah, you watch out for Easter eggs. Next year at the College World Series, you'll be seeing double. There'll be 2 scoreboards out there.
I know.
It'll be amazing.
How excited are that group of guys
A lot.
and gals that do really good work, that after the high school showcases in July,
Yeah.
then you won't be able to see the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge anymore. You'll
Well-
be looking right at a video board.
Yeah.
Well, I went up to the booth yesterday.
You know, in that hole where there's supposed to be a video board that there hasn't been for 15
Which
years?
looks so odd.
Well, I went up to the booth. First time I've ever been in the booth at the Chuck.
Congrats.
And
What'd you think?
the stadium looks way better.
Could you imagine if there was a raccoon in the ceiling? That happened.
No, but
years ago.
I did
Yeah.
see the contraption that they had to put to stop the condensation from dripping all over the equipment.
Of course.
That was 2 years
It
ago.
wasn't that long ago.
I was explaining like, yeah, you see that little like trough there that was built? That wasn't originally there. And then I saw all the towels that were placed within that trough. Real engineering. But when you get up to that booth, the stadium looks better because you can actually see like the outside areas of like Omaha. Like you can better see the bridge and better see the buildings.
Shelter.
You can better see what the city looks like as opposed to when you're down there. It just looks like the most boring stadium you could ever create.
Well, go down the left field line and go into the upper deck where you can see into downtown Omaha.
Oh, I have sat there before.
Huh?
I actually
It's a
did
good
like
spot. Good
I did
spot.
for an Auburn game at the CWS.
Did you just see what Dana White is promoting?
Dana White.
Is he promoting?
Canelo Crawford is going to be streamed on Netflix
Oh,
No, God no.
September 13th.
God no. That's not good.
Nice.
That's terrible.
I have Netflix.
they did a
That's-
fine job with
Yeah,
the Tyson fight.
That will totally not be a
Yeah.
problem. at
Yeah.
all.
But you know what? Now, okay, so they learned their lesson. The football,
Hopefully.
no, because they did the football, the two
Yeah,
Christmas
I
Day
guess
games,
it
and they
was-
didn't have any issues.
That's true.
They did.
Yes, it was
Those were
fine.
good.
So
Those
we're
were
going to
good.
be fine.
Where is it? Is it in Vegas?
Does not say.
Should we go?
They don't have a
We
location.
got
yet.
Houston
September
Christian that weekend,
13th. We got
Josh.
Houston
Oh, big
Christian
game,
coming
big
in.
game.
Did you guys hear about? I looked up online like the Canelo Bud fight, and one like news source was like, yeah, it's going to be on this date in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, and I just did a quick Google search, and I was like, the Cowboys are playing there that day.
Super weird that we don't know like the details of this. Almost
Yeah.
like attention to detail isn't Dana White's forte.
No.
Mm.
Like neither boxer has officially like said, hey,
Right.
game
They've
on.
done a terrible job so far, just getting this on the track. Because it's like every time we hear something about this,
We got time.
well, they got to start promoting it. No, we don't.
We got time.
We
got
have
3
to. They
months.
have
It
to start
promotes
promoting
itself.
it. No,
I'm
it
sure,
doesn't. It does not promote
Maybe
itself.
June, July.
We got 3 months.
I'm sure that Bud is out in Colorado.
Oh yeah, he's
Well,
up
I'm
in the
not-
mountains
I'm
right
not-
now.
I'm not worried about him training. I'm worried about like they need to get a proper press conference. They need to get these two in front of each other. They need to get them trash talking. They need to gain some interest. They need to book the hotels. They need to book the travel plans for all the teams.
I think they'll be fine with that.
Neither
They need to
of
find
them
the
are
suites.
talkers.
No.
Exactly.
Which
Which is why you need a presser.
Well, no, because you need Dana White promoting this.
Exactly.
Because these guys aren't talkers. I know you are with me that the Savannah Bananas idea is genius.
That is not exactly correct.
Why were they on ESPN over
The
the weekend?
genius of hustling.
I'd like to add
Rubes out of
more
their mouth.
context
No,
to
no.
that.
Hold
By the way,
on here.
Hap,
Hold
Hap,
on here.
You and
So-
I, when it comes to the Savannah Bananas, handshake me. All right.
The Savannah Bananas are genius, and I'm sorry you guys cannot embrace what they're doing.
I'm not mad
They
at the
went into
Savannah
Charlotte.
Bananas.
They've gone into NFL stadiums where you would be sitting 400 miles away from all the activity, and somehow people are like, yeah, no problem paying for a ticket. But I'm going to make you happy here. You ready?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, but yes.
Go ahead.
Well, do you know the guy with the banana suit?
I have met Jesse before.
That guy. He kind of rubs me the wrong way.
In what way?
He rubs me the wrong
He
way.
likes
Why?
he likes talking
He's-
about himself too much.
Yes, he loves talking about how much of a genius he is and how everybody should be doing what he's doing.
I can see where that would come across, but his idea, I mean, he's hit a home run.
No, he's
Yeah.
done an incredible
Yeah.
job. It's just, it's a little bit like you see
Like
all
everything
these.
he says is true.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I just think
Well, you-
people who are like I am, or we are like recreating
Yes.
something. It's like, no, you're not.
like you know
It's
those
like, you came up
entrep-
with a great idea.
you know those
Excellent.
Yes.
People love it. It's awesome. And you did not reinvent anything.
It's like the entrepreneurs on TikTok and YouTube who try and tell people how to live like them and also become millionaires like them. Like I acknowledge the fact that you're very successful. I acknowledge the fact that you've done a very great job. Good for you. You just don't have to like throw it into my face and tell me I'm a, Now this is more so the TikTokers and less so
I don't
Jesse.
think he is very popular and he's very accessible.
He's great
and
at
he
his
loves
job.
to tell the story, and what they're doing is genius. But my question is here: you have to eliminate one. We're playing knockout.
Okay.
Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas or the Oz guy.
Oh, no, I love that guy.
Oh, the Oz guy's awesome.
O's the Mentalist?
Oh my God.
I
The
think-
Oz
Wait,
guy.
you're out on him?
Whoa.
Wow.
How?
Wow.
That
Hold on.
guy, before he dies, he needs to reveal how he
No.
does it.
I think the Oz guy has run the gamut, and I'm waiting for a scam to be introduced. here.
How?
Did you
How
see-
would he scam?
Did you see his thing with Rogan?
It was
Yes, about his
incredible.
pin. Okay.
Well, then he guessed.
Rogan was like, I don't believe this.
Okay, is there any part of you that went, hold on here?
No, not at
No.
all. I believe
No.
him. I'm
He's
all the
done
way
it.
in on the bet.
He's done it for too long with too many people that someone has to. The fact that one person has come out and been like, no, I told him all this info, like not even to just get clout. Because people do that. They lie to get clout. Nobody's lied to get clout with Oz, which makes me think it's true.
Okay, how do you feel about Oz?
Can they both be on the same Hindenburg?
Whoa!
Wow.
Why are you out on Oz?
Because he
I've
hates
seen it for 10 years. Once the video starts, I know, he's going to do the thing. And
But
the guy's going to go, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? It's like David Blaine. Like, I know.
Did you ever see the time though where he opened up a bag of Twix and Skittles came out?
Okay. I have
I
have
sick.
not seen that one.
He made a guy pick
Josh.
like, what like gas station snack are you getting? Anything at the gas station. And he ended up picking Skittles. And he's like, oh, I have a Twix bar. And then he opened up the Twix bar and he pulled out Skittles. It was sick.
If he knows all the winners, how come he doesn't bet?
All right, I might look that up.
it's never not impressive to me.
Well, okay,
I know what's going to
and by
happen.
the
Like
way,
Josh said,
he doesn't
I know
go
what's
up to
gonna
Mike. How he does it is like he looks at Connor and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then he tries and he does it that he's not going up to Mike McCarthy and being like run or pass.
Well,
28 points, 27 points. How
Mike
much points
McCarthy
are you
runs
gonna
a predictable offense. It would be stupid to go
That's
up
right.
to him and ask
Run,
a question.
run.
So
That's the wrong.
maybe this
the wrong
is
coach.
maybe this is the skepticism. I'm waiting for him to be exposed. That someone goes, okay, these all have been plants. Everybody's
why
been
are
in
you
on-
waiting
Good
for him?
luck.
He's
Somebody-
been around for so long.
Joe Rogan's agent gave him his PIN number.
He's done it with so many people and so many organizations.
He was
and at
on
this
Ellen
point-
like 15 years ago, and he's been running the same con ever since.
Why is it the same con? It's cool. It's cool. It's really cool.
Cons can be cool.
He
Con
He's more of a
predicted
con
that-
man.
he
Jesse in the banana suit
Hold on,
or
hold on.
us.
He
Hold on.
predicted that Joe Burrow would fake a pass to one guy and then throw it to another dude. That was sick.
It's not a con. He can read people's minds.
He literally predicted the Final Four.
He's the one person on earth who can read people's minds.
He predicted the Final Four, and then he predicted the Super Bowl, like who would play in the Super Bowl. And I'm pretty sure it shifted odds at DraftKings. Like when Oz said that the Chiefs were going to win.
Yeah,
I love Oz. You guys are haters.
Yeah, I'm all the way in. I like that guy.
He's good at his job.
Keep him going.
He gets it done. And what if it is
Banana
a con?
guy?
What if it
I'm
is a
out.
scam? Right? The WWE is a scam, right? They know who's going to win. We know it's a con, yet we're still entertained by it.
I don't know.
What's this about wrestling being a con?
I mean, it is. It is a con. It's my favorite con. I love cons.
I'm in on O's.
Just like how I almost
I'm
got
big-
scammed by the Masters,
big-
right? I'm big on scams.
Big O's guy. big O's guy.
Did you hear about that, Gary?
I like
you
when
weren't
he's
here.
guessing a number for the 8 millionth time. I guess that's kind of.
So he goes on with Rogan, and Rogan's trying to throw him because he's like, this guy's not going to get me.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
going to
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to get got on my own
Joe-
podcast.
I'm
Joe-
the ultimate skeptic.
Joe
I'm
Rogan is
Rogan.
the
Exactly.
absolute worst nightmare for any party magician. He's trying to figure it
and
out.
then so
Just let
he
it happen.
He writes his ATM PIN number on a whiteboard, and Joe Rogan goes, "Yeah, that's it."
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, but I'm still, I don't know. I'm still skeptical.
Do you ever see my favorite clip of Joe Rogan was when he asked the guy about mushrooms, and the guy goes, "My life will be in danger if I answer that question about fungi."
I haven't. You know what? I used to watch Rogan a lot more during political season. He still is entertaining.
His UFC
No idea.
stuff.
I had no idea
So I
what
used
he's
to
doing.
watch when I was getting into the UFC. I would religiously watch his UFC podcast, and it was actually a great sport interview that gave light to UFC fighters and was awesome. But other than that, he just brings on scientists and a bunch of people I really don't care about.
It's a roller coaster. I will say that.
Here's my thing. The pyramid's cool. Don't really care. Maybe they build them. Maybe they didn't build them. Really doesn't affect me. Maybe the aliens were there. Maybe they did walk all the way to that quarry and stack the stones. It doesn't really, no sweat off my back.
I'm willing to go along with, maybe I've been told, maybe we all as a society have been told so many lies in our lives, but there's just certain things that I'm just willing to go along with.
Oh,
you know,
a million
and-
percent.
And O's the Mentalist is one of
Yes.
those.
What do
I don't know if he's alive, but I'm just like, you know what? Absolutely,
Totally
I'm
valid.
with you.
What do you think Joe Rogan and Bono talked about for 3 hours?
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
I don't know.
Did
What does Bono have to say?
Did you hear Florio's his review of the Aaron Rodgers Joe Rogan podcast? He said it was 183 minutes of meaningless garbage. That's what
Nice. Florio's always triggered at something.
That guy's triggered.
And he's going to be even more triggered today when Aaron Rodgers speaks for the first time.
Guy Fieri, 2.5 hours.
Oh, he actually did.
Let's check out some of the
That was
latest
actually
Joe
not
Rogan
bad. Where Guy
pods.
Fieri explained the origin of Triple D. It was pretty sick. I watched Joe Rogan
2.5
clips.
hours.
Yeah.
I like Guy. 2.5 hours.
Did he-
That's a lot.
Did Rogan do anything with the Man v Food guy?
Oh, Adam Richmond.
Yeah, I think
Who
he
is
did.
making a comeback?
He's back.
Oh.
So
He's starting
He's
to
on
eat
the
again?
History Channel.
well,
Is
so
he
he's
bringing
showing
that
up
big
on
head of his?
So he's showing up on
Jeez.
TikTok. His thing now is buffets.
Oh
so
yeah.
he has this thing about buffets.
He's going to
He
attack
gives
it properly?
tips. No, he says so many people make mistakes when they go to buffets because once the waiter or waitress comes to your table and says, "Okay,
Uh-huh.
the plates are up there."
You're free. Go.
Yeah. He said that's the wrong thing to do. He said more
Oh.
people need to take a tour of the buffet before they ever sit down.
Yeah,
you got to
that's-
scout.
You got to walk around. You got to know how I'm going to eat, where I'm going first, where I'm going to finish. He said not enough people do that.
Isn't the beauty?
It's like a long TikTok
Is it-
about his now. He's going to buffets all over the country
and telling you how to attack them.
and how to attack them and who has the best buffet.
Are we getting the most for our money? Is that what we're doing?
Or we're getting the
Or-
best
The-
eating.
well, both. So
Okay.
the best for the money, and then who offers the best food that is like legit food, not just we're throwing it on a
But
buffet.
isn't
okay.
the whole point of the buffet to just have complete and total autonomy and like there is this euphoria when the waitress goes away from the table and she says, "All right, take your plate and go ahead and grab whatever you want."
But
And then you can just do whatever it is that
It's
and
very freeing. To
it's
hear that.
it's
But
instinctual,
I
right?
will-
You don't have to have a game plan for this.
I-
You're thinking too much about it.
I would argue though that one of the worst moments is when everybody's back at the table and you're looking at everybody else's plate and somebody has something on their plate
I should've
that
got
you want, and you're like, "Damn it, I didn't see
Part
that.
of the
I didn't know.
experience.
I
of
didn't
the-
know they had a prime rib carving station all the way in the back right of the buffet."
I think part of the buffet experience is that you do make mistakes,
But doesn't-
and you learn from them, and then you come back to the buffet.
But doesn't it affect you a bit where you're like, all right, now I kind of have to like scarf through this plate so I can get back and I can make myself
No.
a little salmon
That's
brioche.
that's the beauty of it. If I could give anybody some advice on a buffet, don't be afraid to throw some crap away.
Throw it away.
They got plenty of it. They're going to come by and take that plate. Are you done with that plate? That's full. I don't care. Absolutely, dump it in the trash can.
Don't you feel a little
get
bit
myself
bad
a new
though
one.
when you grab something and you don't take a bite of it and then throw it away?
I mean, I'll probably take a bite of it. That's how I know if it's good or not.
Sure.
But don't be afraid.
You've never taken a risk at a buffet. You're like, I got the frog legs. I'm probably not going to like them.
No, I think that's the point. You
Yeah.
do take risks at a buffet. You do, and then you just instinctually are gravitating toward whatever you feel like is a good idea. I don't know.
What's your favorite Man v Food challenge?
I don't know.
Everybody have a favorite?
No,
No,
not
no.
at all.
Oh.
Do you?
Kodiak-esque was a great one. He ate a bunch of crab legs and deer sausage and mashed potatoes and a blueberry cobbler
Why was that better than
and
the other
salmon
ones?
cakes and crab cakes because it looked good. The stuff that he ate, some of the stuff that he ate on Man v Food, I was like, I would not eat that.
Yeah, there's
Like,
a
that
reason
looks
why he quit.
You know,
The-
like when he ate his way,
Yeah.
he ate his way.
He
through
was
half
dying.
A cow.
He was dying.
He ate 90 ounces of medium rare steak. Okay, I like the amount of cholesterol that is in the meal that
That
he
sounds
had.
great.
He ate half a cow. Who eats half a cow?
I don't know. People get cows.
If you put half a cow in front of me, I would eat half a cow.
I would try to anyway.
So he has put weight back on, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's back in the game.
Yes.
Well,
Bulking up.
he's back at buffets. I don't know what he expects.
He's back in the game. That's good, man. It's good. I like that guy. I've always liked that guy.
Well, then they tried to stick that other. What was his name's Casey?
yeah. They had
Yeah.
they're like, we can do this without you.
No.
And no, they could
No.
not.
Man versus food. I am a hungry dude. Wasn't
They
that the
ever
theme song?
have they ever done one in Omaha?
No, California Taco.
Didn't they do the
Oh,
Stellinator?
that's Triple D.
Ooh.
Mind.
I don't know. Like Guy has been here before.
Who's Guy?
Guy.
What I call Guy.
Oh, you mispronounced his name on purpose.
Casey
When he
Webb was the host of Man v Food when they were in Omaha. It chowed down on a historic Reuben sandwich,
Nice.
soul food feast featuring fried chicken from a 100-year-old recipe, and a monstrous pile of pork with all the breakfast fixings weighing more than 1,360 grams.
Holy
Wait a minute.
smokes.
So he went to Mouth of the South,
Where'd he get his Reuben?
Crescent Moon,
Crescent Moon.
and his meat.
You know, you go over there into that area of town, and you'll find a lot of people who will tell you that they invented stuff, whether it be the Reuben or the Butterbrickle ice cream, you know, from cone flour. So I went to that.
Wait a minute. Coneflower said they invented that ice cream?
No. The committee chop house. I went there for our anniversary. We went there for our anniversary, and they gave us this whole spiel about how they actually invented it. They invented the and now they might be working. They might have given the recipe to coneflower or whatever it is, but oh yeah, they'll be like, yeah, it was all here. Same thing with the Reuben. Right there at the Cottonwood Hotel.
The Porkosaurus challenge from Bailey's.
Yes. Which you can do on a daily basis.
Do we have many of those food challenges anymore?
No.
There's not very many places who advertise like, hey, if you eat this entire plate, you can get it all for free.
Big Mama's, Crescent Moon, and
Big
Bailey's.
Mama's.
There you go.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
I think the cardiologists and also, used to have places where you go and drink your way through the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They probably said.
I think there's some legalities. We don't do that
It's
anymore.
like we don't need people dying of a heart attack right here.
Yeah, that probably would not be something you'd then throw on the marquee.
No.
It'd make it very comfortable.
You ever taken a part in a challenge before?
I don't think so. Like we would go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
The Blazing Wings?
No, not the Blazing Challenge, but like we on the Unlimited Wing Day back when I think they brought that back, the Unlimited Wing at Buffalo Wild Wings. We would go there like in the summer on like a Tuesday afternoon, and just rip through like 50 wings. You know, not so much anymore.
BOGO on Thursdays is the big deal now at Buffalo Wild Wings.
I haven't
That's
been there
what
in
they
so
still
long.
have going for them. Every Thursday, we would make our way over to B-Dubs. You get 20 wings for about $12. One of the best deals in town.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you went to Brothers when you were in Lincoln for wing night.
Of course, I was the mayor of Brothers.
Wings pitchers were like a cent.
I was
something like that.
I was like Norm from Cheers when I went to Brothers.
Nice.
I walked in. Hey,
Norm.
Matt.
No,
How you
That's a
doing?
sausage factory. Is that true?
On Wing Wednesday, yeah. On Thursdays, no. So Wing Wednesday was you had to be a part of the Mug Club, and you would get 25-cent wings. So you could get 2 doubles and 20 wings for roughly $11.
Yeah, you'd go in there with $10 and you're
just set.
loaded.
Now on Thursdays, it was just $2 double night, no Wing Wednesday. That would bring out everybody. That was a co-ed event. And then Fridays and Saturdays were a little bit on the lower part for Brothers because then more people were going to Iggy's and Sandy's and the bar. But Brothers owned Wednesday and Thursdays. But since I've graduated, they've actually removed Mug Club. They no longer do Mug Club. You can't do the $2 doubles.
In there.
No, I just think they were losing money.
The Watering Hole had a wing special. Seemed like every day,
Yeah, they had good wings.
and now they're closed.
I don't know. Yeah.
They are.
I think if
I
I
never
walked,
had Watering Hole wings.
I think if
Watering
I walked to O Street right now, I would be like very confused as to what I would be seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it
think-
wouldn't look anything like
Main
what
Street Cafe is still there, but I don't know if it's still open. The Watering Hole, I never had Watering Hole wings. O'Rourke's is still there, I'm pretty sure. There's now a new coffee shop.
Watering Hole was fantastic when it was the Watering Hole.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, because you could go in there and drop a chicken bone underneath the booth
Okay.
and come back like a year later and it would still be there. And then all of a sudden, I think they got new owners and they spruced the place up. Never the same. Wow.
It's got to look like
You
a
could,
Watering
like
Hole.
you could walk into the Watering Hole and your feet would stick to the floor.
There really are places that get a charm from kind of looking like a piece of crap, right?
That's called a dive bar.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Like Jack's. Like if Jack's ever got spruced up in the Haymarket, I would be very unhappy. Jack's still needed. It's gonna be a lot of wood, a lot of torn down wood. There's got to be, some just It's got to smell a little bit funny, right? If Jack's had a good perfume to it, I don't think I'd go back there.
Yeah, if all of a sudden I went to Alderman's and it looked really, really nice,
Yeah.
I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah.
It'd be not good.
I've been to Alderman's. It checks out. Not look very
That
nice.
is why it's on the ugly sweater bar crawl.
I went there for 15 minutes and it was karaoke night, and I was like, I got to get the hell out of
Why
here.
do you seem to find a lot of karaoke places?
I don't know, man.
You attracted to karaoke?
I'm like a moth to a flame when it comes to karaoke.
Really?
I enjoy it, but not even like I sing a little, but even for like the non.
You just like watching people do karaoke?
Well, it's great to flirt after because then it's like they
It's
do this-
great.
That's
to
that's
flirt.
my in.
That is your end.
So you're into
guys,
you're
you
into
guys-
karaoke.
You like
voyeurism?
Spice Girls?
Guys,
Interesting.
no,
I like
ser-
Spice
no,
Girls.
guys.
You know, I
seriously.
have my own system at home.
I know
You
you.
want to go back and play? We could do the whole album together.
It was
Remember
really brave of you to get up there and sing before he cheats. Just know I would never.
There you go. There you go. You guys laugh.
I'm
You
sorry
guys
for
laugh.
whoever hurt you.
I literally like this is literally the routine.
Hey,
People
you
have
gotta
seen
do
it.
what you gotta do.
Oh, I like that song. Oh, she's pretty. You go up, you compliment her on the song, you compliment her on the taste. You start talking about that artist, and they are all into it right away. Then it leads into what's your major? I could never do that. Oh my god.
What's your major?
Can't we just leave the opposite sex alone? They came to a place to
You
sing.
just made fun of brothers for being a sausage fest, and then I come in and I tell you that there are karaoke places where I was.
Some people just like to go and sing karaoke. They don't want to be hit on by a 23-year-old person.
I would argue that. I would argue that
It's
the girls.
Kelly and Accounting's birthday. They're just trying to have a good time.
I would argue. I would argue that
But
the girls
Suave
who are
walks
going to
over there and
karaoke.
he's like, hey, you know, that second verse is a little bit tough, and you really hit that.
Yeah.
Bang! Seriously, that's what we're talking about. Did you steal the script? Have you been looking at my notes?
It doesn't seem that hard.
It's guys, it works. All right, it's just an easy. It's just a nice
I think
clean swing.
This is where have you done this?
Sandy's, the bar.
Oh, he's in Lincoln.
So these are
Yeah.
people that
Does it
are
work in
your age,
Omaha?
though.
Yeah, but there were people who weren't my age
You're
either.
not
When we were
rolling
at
in-
the Gotham, we
You're
were at
not
the Gotham
rolling in
bar,
next
which
to your favorite casino, Winchester's, and like, man, the burgers here are great. Not as good as White Castle, but oh, it's karaoke night.
no, but there is actually a casino here that actually does have a really good Reuben. And sometimes I just go on over there, have the Reuben. You know, that is a thing. If you find good food,
I like the things that you've found in our town.
I've really explored the city in an inside out way,
That's
or
good.
an outside in way, if you will. I haven't really done the whole. Like I've done it at my own speed and my own pace and the way that I want to do it, which means I've done it through food, bars, and casinos.
It's a great place to start.
I will say though, the other day, didn't have to use a GPS when I was in a place that I didn't really know where I was at. I was just like find 50th and take 50th
You're
to
like,
Dodge.
yeah, let me go to Dodge.
No,
it.
that's what it was. That's just where I have a good map. Like I got a good internal clock of where Dodge is. If I could get to Dodge, we're fine. I drove Josh home. I drove Josh home, or drove Josh to work yesterday.
Yeah, back to the station.
Back to the station.
Wow.
Josh was
Beamer?
probably in a great cheery mood too, right?
Yeah. Well, we got our job done
Mhm.
much quicker because I came in and I helped out.
Definition of an hour is a little bit different, isn't it?
Oh, I had a feeling that time estimate was.
Yeah, we felt like that was going to be the case. You know, that's okay though.
I had some food put in my belly. It was fine.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
it was.
And now you know what you know about the College World Series.
That's right.
Do we have anybody new by us? Like any new vendors?
Didn't
we
look
haven't
like
seen
it.
before?
Looked like Tucci was still across from us.
Good.
and-
Tucci,
Mhm.
I need my bat this year, Tucci.
Our
sort of
sunflower
ghosted
seed
us
guy
on
going to
that
be
one.
back?
They will be there.
Nice.
We've reached out already. I
When do
need
you
my
start,
seeds.
When do you start contacting these? Like after January 1, you wait till January 2nd? You're like, hey, it's New Year. College World Series is coming.
I believe regional weekend.
Nice. That's
You know,
good.
I'm doing a lot of housework, and so that hat I got from you last year has a lot of sweat stains on it. So,
Mhm.
hey, just want to see if you guys are going to be back.
Mhm.
Rawlings will be there opening weekend.
You bet. You bet. I could use a new glove.
Mhm.
Good.
Some just want trinkets. You guys want hey, can I get a uniform? Hey, can I get a pair of shoes?
It's really open ended. You just
Yeah.
it's whatever they decide to toss our way.
Ask big, and then we can work
that's
our way
true. Yeah.
down.
That's
Exactly.
true.
Exactly.
I haven't
Have-
used my glove in a while because Connor wouldn't invite me to play softball.
We got a full squad. We got a full squad.
Every week, you got a full squad. It's the fullest squad in all of Omaha.
You can check it
Just-
online if you think he's lying.
Well, I mean,
They
like
have their whole roster up there. Stats.
Apparently, you got the most attended softball team of all time.
Well, I'm gone more often than not these days.
It's
so
just-
I wouldn't want you to fill in
It's
for
just
me.
so
That wouldn't be
convenient when
very
you do
fun
have
for
open
you.
spots. Well, I'm not going to be there, so you can't go.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very fun for you.
By the way,
Just been
you were very
collecting
kind
dust.
yesterday to Coach Kingston when you asked him the hot dog question.
Well,
It was actually a great interview.
I didn't like the answer. You know,
I could sense that in your voice,
Yep.
and there was a pause, but you did not crush him.
He's not, but you know, this is the way. You know, he likes to put ketchup on his hot dogs. It's okay. It's okay.
He quickly pivoted, and then the question about the sandwich he had at Warner Park. I mean,
That was a good one.
yeah,
There
it
was
good.
a
It good for
sandwich.
The brisket sandwich.
Mm.
We've had it before.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It is good. It is good.
All right.
Have a good Tuesday.
You guys too. Enjoy your days.
I'm going to enjoy my day.
Good. That's the
While
crossover.
you still can.
Powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It's Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
It'll be a chilly start here on your Tuesday morning with temperatures in the 50s outside, but boy, do we have a warm up this afternoon. High temperatures getting into the upper 80s, wind should stay calm, and a lot of sunshine for today, and that continues with the warming trend into Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
Looking for tickets to the hottest events? Look no further than Tickets for Less. TFL has tickets to everything from college baseball championships to Husker football concerts and more, all with no hidden fees. Plus, score extra savings with promo code THEZONE now at ticketsforless.com.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. Josh is here, and there's only a minimal chance that he will be taken away from us during this show to perform other duties as assigned.
And that's exactly what it would be. It would be me being taken away. They'd have to drag me kicking and screaming out of here today. I got stuff to say.
You should ceremoniously tie yourself to your chair. And then, if you had to go up for, you have to go to the bathroom for pee-pee time, then you would just roll there. Your chair's got rollers.
It does.
Right? You could stay mobile.
Yep.
Either way. That's not a bad idea. So here we are on a Tuesday, back together again for a couple more days until the College World Series begins. We have our Omaha 8. Murray State is in the field after 2 dog piles last night. Not one, but 2 dog piles for Murray State. The second one a little bit sweeter, but a little bit more subdued, I will say. We'll get into that during the show. Allan Bell will be our guest today. That's the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. So AB will talk about the field, the finals, and more coming up at 11:30. Also at 12:30, baseball reaction, overreaction today. I call it baseball reaction, overreaction because there is one college baseball topic in baseball overreaction today.
Tis the season.
It's usually MLB reaction, overreaction. We're just transitioning over to baseball reaction, overreaction today, coming up at 12:30. Would love for you all to get in touch with the show. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Speaking of the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline, we will be giving out a $100 gift card to Sky Bar and Grill at Prairie Flower Casino each week. And you can enter to win now at 1620thezone.com.
Like every week?
Each week.
Wow.
All of the weeks.
Wow.
Yes, every week. Every week there is a week. We'll give away $100 to the Sky Bar and Grill at Prairie Flower Casino. How about that?
That's a great deal.
It is. You can tweet in at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can email Connor or Josh at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers today, watching along with us there, or at zonetv.live. There was I got a message before. Josh had his slate up here. If you're watching along with us on YouTube for the 8 logos in the College World Series and 1620 The Zone and Westwood 1, that's our field this year. And someone pointed out that the LSU logo they just wanted the regular LSU logo. That's a clean logo, and instead you went with the eye of the tiger.
I can explain.
Yes, please.
I had
Explain
the word mark logo, the LSU, just the letters, and
the one where they're hooked together, or the one where it's just side by side.
Side by side.
It's a little too long to fit in a square.
It is.
Right? It's rectangular.
And I didn't think about the interlocked LSU logo that they use specifically for baseball.
No, that's a good one.
As I hurl a bunch of spit out of my mouth, I apologize.
That's okay.
But yeah, that would have been a good swap to make.
Okay, just people wanted to point that out, and so I thought I'd bring it to your attention. And
I do appreciate that.
There it is. Today on the show, elsewhere, I have a couple Nebraska football topics for you, including there is K-Ford rankings today. Remember K-Ford?
Nebraska football?
Yeah.
K-Ford?
Yeah, K-Ford.
It's June.
I know. And then I was thinking, so I got asked to go on somebody's podcast or show or whatever last night. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know how
that's great for the show.
Yeah, I don't know how these people find me, but I never say no, as you know, Josh. And so I go on whatever random podcast that anybody wants me to go on. And so I did last night.
So other podcasts want to have you on, but nobody wants to buy or sell anything on this show. Okay,
well,
got it.
that's maybe those are two different things. But this person Jake was asking me about Nebraska football and kind of was just giving the rundown, like kind of what you think, and it's basic generic sort of questions and stuff like that. And so afterwards, I thought about it, and I was going through some of the players in the roster to explain to him, and I was like, oh, that guy's a transfer, that guy's a transfer, that guy's a transfer. So I came with a list, like a loose list of Nebraska's top 10 or 15 players, and I noticed that almost all of them came from the transfer portal, and maybe almost all of them came from the transfer portal like this year, as well, with the exception of one or two. So I want to just open that up a little bit later on in the show. You guys know this, but it's interesting to think about, I think, in from that perspective. Tonight in Kansas City, Jazz Chisholm gets booed a lot.
Now you just assume you know what's in the hearts of Royals fans.
I do.
Interesting.
I am assuming in this case he's going to get booed a lot.
Interesting.
We'll finally get Josh's thoughts on the mayoral exit interview.
I have read the quotes.
You ready to react?
I don't pay for Omaha.com, so I have not read the whole article.
Good. I can read them right back.
Okay.
I got everything for you lined up. In college athletics, we have semblance of rules. We kind of have rules.
Oh, good.
Ideas for rules, concepts of rules. So cool rules. Who makes them? And then what happens when they're broken? Interesting. Enforcement of rules. Who will be in charge of this? This is something that Sam brought up on our show yesterday, and we'll sort of continue on that topic. Dylan Raiola's brother, Dayton Raiola, delivers quotes that make Steve Sipple go, Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that. Does the College World Series represent the last bastion for fun and the little guy in college athletics this year? Is, yes, last night a regional 4 seed made the Elite 8. That's like a 13 through 16 making the Elite 8, and it's not the first time.
It's the 4th time.
It's happened quite a bit here as we have this separation in college sports, but still the little guys make runs in the postseason. I have the Savannah Bananas topic that we didn't get to yesterday, which I'm sort of excited to talk about, so we could do that. Hopefully we get to it today on the show. It's sort of evergreen, so if we skip it, then it'll just become like the second edition of the Caitlin Clark thing. Oh yeah, and by the way, we got to get to that Caitlin Clark thing.
We will get to it. It's
today.
Summer. It's a little more elbow room now.
Right. So almost for sure, we'll definitely get to it today. And then yesterday afternoon, as I was kind of getting ready for the show, I asked, my wife was in the room, and I asked, what should we talk about tomorrow? Just as a general question. And she answered very quickly. She said, Love Island. My wife loves a reality television show, and almost all of them. She consumes a lot of reality television content, and she gave me quite the spiel on the show called Love Island, so I wanted to pass that information along to you all today.
One of my favorite things is when we as a collective are watching a sporting event together but separately, and we're all like, oh my gosh, what a call, what a terrible call, what a great call, what a terrible play. And then your wife
did you see Christine?
Why would Anthony do that? Like, wait, Anthony? Who's Anthony? Oh, wait, that's not, we're not watching the same thing.
It's really funny.
It is.
It's a great bit, but it's not a bit.
No.
It's real life. All right, so we're off and running here on a Tuesday. We'll come back and we'll talk about the idea of the College World Series, being pure, as Gus Johnson would say, pure for the little guy in college athletics. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Our 8th participant in the College World Series is in the books. Murray State, coached by Dan Skirka, who was an assistant at a junior college like 6 years ago before he was hired to be the head coach before the 2019 season. His interview after Murray State won the game last night. This is, of course, after, dramatically Murray State grabs the lead 5-3 and then leaves the bases loaded after having the bases loaded and nobody out in the inning. You're like, uh-oh. Duke comes back and hits a home run, makes it a 1-run game. Bottom of the 9th rolls around, and Murray State gets a ground ball to shortstop with 1 out, and they get the out at second base, get the force out at second base before the Duke runner slid into second and then was called for obstruction as the shortstop or as the second baseman was tripped, trying to throw the baseball to first base to complete the double play, which would have completed the double play. It was called obstruction. The double play ended the game at the time, went back. So dog pile ensues. They went back, immediately looked at it and said, I think the guy just tripped. That he was in the baseline. If that would have ended Duke's season, then we would have had a lot more to talk about today. We've had a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
Obstruction has been the talk of the postseason in college baseball and softball here.
It has.
So glad they figured that out. Glad they got that one right. Even the, replay, like, as much as I have a distaste for it, did its job in that situation because the Duke runner went straight into the bag and just happened to clip the second baseman's foot. And then a couple pitches later, they got the ground ball to first and then dogpiled again. And then Murray State coach Dan Skirka got up there for an interview, put the headset on, and there's all these videos of him hugging his son. I'm like, this is incredible. This is fantastic. I'm on the verge of like crying as I'm watching this entire thing. And then he stops the interview and says, guys, I got to go because they're about to give me a Gatorade bath, rips the headset off, and then just like eats the Gatorade bath. Like
accepts his fate.
Give it to me, please. Beautiful celebration for Murray State last night. And now Duke, by the way, on the other side of that, has to find a new coach, reportedly, as Chris Pollard is off to Virginia.
That's a bad 14 hours for Duke.
And the leading candidate for the Duke job, according to Kendall Rogers, is an assistant who is making his way to Omaha right now on the LSU staff, who was at Duke for a long time. So cool stuff. A regional 4 gets through and beats Ole Miss 2 out of 3 in the regional, and then gets through the super regional in a game 3, quick turnaround. Like, you got to get to Omaha tomorrow. Now all of a sudden he cuts the grass, Dan Skirka, in his own stadium, which holds 800 people and has limited to no facilities whatsoever. Where they play basketball is pretty nice, but their baseball diamond probably leaves a little bit to be desired. They are off to the College World Series. And now they get to play, the likes of some of the SEC big dogs and whoever might be there. They'll get UCLA in their first game. Coincidentally enough, Stony Brook in 2012, when they made their miraculous run to the College World Series.
Those are your boys.
Those are my guys, the Seawolves. Shout out to Long Island. They played UCLA in their first game in Omaha, and they were beaten to a pulp twice. But they got to Omaha, and they get to wear that College World Series patch, and they get to play, on the grandest stage of them all, which is awesome. And so I saw people talking about it last night. We now have our field, as Josh had up on the stream earlier. I'll put it back up right now. We have national seed Oregon State. We have national seed LSU. We have national seed Arkansas. We have regional and super regional host UCLA. And we have programs who have been here before. Coastal Carolina won a national championship in 2016. Arizona won a national championship, I believe, in 2012. Went to the finals against Coastal that year. And Louisville, who is, had a really good run and a really good, decade here under longtime head coach Dan McDonnell. LSU, Arkansas, and then we have Murray State. It is not the SEC ACC invite that we came to know last year. There are, as I've talked about a lot on this show, there are positives and negatives here. There are pros and there are cons to this. But I see people talking about this College World Series as sort of the last bastion for the little guy in college athletics. There was a bit of an overreaction last year, Josh, if you remember, right?
Oh, I do remember.
And I will say that this is a bit of an overreaction as well. The thing that I want to make so crystal clear, and hopefully I've done an okay job of doing that over the last several shows here, is that the baseball postseason is nuts. The baseball postseason, anything could happen. Even the Colorado Rockies will win like 25 games this year. You know what I mean? Like somebody's on the other side of that. They are a historically bad team, but they will win some games. And so if you put the Colorado Rockies in the postseason, 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, they're going to get swept right out and they're going to lose. But if you put the Colorado Rockies in the postseason in Major League Baseball, they're probably going to advance far, like in one of those machinations of the playoffs. That's the best I can sort of describe it to you. And so when people have all these sweeping proclamations about this is the sport, this is what it's going to be going forward, or this is like our one saving hope, it's college baseball, please come here. Like I love the positive pub that it gets off of teams like Murray State making the College World Series or Stony Brook or Fresno State winning it all. Like I think that's cool, but I would be hesitant to say, oh, well, we could expect this every year. You know, like this is just what this sport is, and this makes it beautiful. Now, we have a serious imbalance still in college baseball, and that's not a problem. It's just the SEC has put a lot into it, and very few other conferences have. And you're down to like a handful of teams in the country who support their programs like SEC programs. It's so competitive down there that everybody has to do it if you want to remain competitive. So there is an imbalance in the sport, but the great equalizer is its postseason, just like it is in college basketball, and it's the same thing in college baseball. And so I just think a lot of the times we get a little bit football brained with this stuff and are like, what does this mean? What are the lessons that can be taken from it? And all these things. The lesson here is that, yes, when you get into the postseason in baseball, anybody can win. Anybody can win. And it's on the best teams to be able to hold up their end of the bargain. But when you minimize it down to a 1 or 2 or 3 game scenario, you're probably going to get some wonky results like 2 out of 10 times or 3 out of 10 times or 1 out of 10 times or 1 out of 100 times. Sometimes you're probably going to get some wonky results because it's a baseball game. So let's not overreact, please. Again, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sometimes George Mason makes the Final Four. Sometimes St. Peter's makes the Elite Eight. Sometimes Fresno State wins the College World Series. Like it, not everything is a referendum.
Yes. Thank you. Not everything. We do it in football because a lot of things are referendums in football because you only get 12 games in the regular season, and it's so important. Everything is so important, and everybody's funded at a super duper high level, right? And the playing field is like relatively even if we're talking about at the power conference level. Brian writes in on the text line.
Hi, Brian.
How long before Skirka is at a bigger program? Is he coaching his last games at Murray State? I think so. Yeah, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, like I would venture to guess that he's going to get some calls.
Unless there's something hyper specific that is keeping him there. Like,
I mean, he clearly loves it there.
Yeah.
Right.
Seems like he has a fair bit of loyalty, but I mean, how can you say no when a fill in the name here comes calling? Like,
yeah.
Right? Like, You mean I don't have to cut the grass and you'll pay me more and I can pay my players anything?
And I can take a lot of my players with me?
Yeah. I love these kids. I want to see them succeed. I'll take them with me.
The other thing about that is like, a lot of the coaching carousel is kind of over right now. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a chance that he probably gets some calls because They get a great platform to show off of what they're all about, and boy, did that team impress. And so, welcome, and we'll see them on Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
Saturday afternoon.
Now,
for when they play the UCLA Bruins.
Are you prepared to interview John Morant?
Well, I hope he knows the rules about guns.
There's none allowed in the chuck box.
That's right.
Now, if he asks you to do it on 13th Street, you decline that interview, okay? You do me that personal favor.
Oh,
hey, I'll do the interview, but I want to do it on 13th Street at the statue.
Just let's make this very public. No, he just likes talking about his guns.
Yeah.
I think it's a danger in any way.
I think it's moved on to hand grenades too, if I'm
That's right. After guns were banned, he was like, all right, cool, I got grenades. What? He did tweet last night.
Oh, he did.
He did tweet about
he
didn't say like he didn't declare that he was coming to Omaha, but he was like, oh, Omaha,
Wow.
Yeah, check out John Morant's tweet about Omaha. You'll love it. Frame it.
Racing to Omaha.
Yep, John Morant tweeted about Omaha.
Horse emoji.
Now I wonder
if got one whole reply.
I wonder if former Creighton assistant Ryan Miller or former Creighton basketball player Frederick King or former Creighton basketball player Mason Miller or former Creighton there's like two more on the roster, or former Creighton basketball player Jahins Manigat. They'll probably bring the whole crew back, right? You got it.
You got it.
Hop on the jet. Why not? NCAA's paying for it. Come on up. All right. Quick timeout. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. I just saw a tweet from Millard South grad Cam Kojal, who said, "What a blessed life." Hashtag Omahawks, hashtag Rosenblatt, hashtag CWS, hashtag College World Series, hashtag Omaha. This is after, of course, he got done with the press conference the other night and said, "Sleep over at the Kojal's house."
Oh.
So he's coming home with the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's the pictures of him as a child at a replica stadium of Rosenblatt. I don't know where this is. There seems to be some hills in the background. I'll bring up one of the pictures here in a second, but somebody tell me somewhere in the state of Nebraska where they had like a miniature Rosenblatt stadium.
Oh wow.
Because I don't know where this is. Oh, okay. So he's wearing a shirt that says 12U Stars and Stripes Classic, Kearney, Nebraska. So this is in Kearney, maybe. Anyway, but there he goes. He's coming home. He's going to be the darling of town, Josh. Arkansas, by the way, has a couple of Omahans on their roster, but just one hitting in the middle of their lineup. Kind of a big deal.
It is.
Here is a phone call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline from Random Mike. Hi, Mike. Good to hear from you.
Hey, I got a suggestion. I think people listening will get a real kick out of it. I'm a Coastal guy, but mainly for football. And even Gary Sharp, who I think is a hell of a football telecast guy, said that maybe the most entertaining game he ever broadcast in high school football was the Millard Southwest Side game. And this is one of the great high school teams ever in Nebraska, that West Side one. But Coastal and Rizek put on a show as quarterbacks.
Yep.
And one play Coastal made near the end of the game is one of the best quarterback plays I've ever seen in high school. And I've been looking for it. And it's easy to find now. You just go to his Huddle senior season highlights, and it's the first play. And I recommend what I'm asking you to do is talk to the Arkansas public relations people or whatever they call them, and have them find that and put it on the telecast for the World Series so everybody can see what a great quarterback he was. That play is unbelievable. I don't know if you saw that game.
I'm going to try and find it right now, Mike.
Okay. It's the first play in this Huddle senior season.
Okay.
It's easy to find. And that's how talented he was as a quarterback. And it made me think of, because Van Horn said he made two plays in this last series with Tennessee, which was huge. And one of them was his slide at home plate on a wild pitch, where, it was great instincts, but the way he slid was a football kind of thing, because he kind of slid toward the pitcher to keep him from getting too close. And then he made a play on a double play as a second baseman. But my other question is, why the hell didn't he even consider Nebraska or Creighton? Because I've heard his list of teams didn't include either one of them.
Well, I think at a certain point you probably realize I am one of the best players in the country, and I want to go play against the best player. Like, I want to challenge myself at that level. Like, I don't think it has to be any more complicated than that.
Yeah, I agree. But so was Alex Gordon, and he came here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could happen, but yeah, it's that whole northern-southern thing. And why the hell do you want to play in 20-degree weather? And you just can't recruit the players. But you're right. But that senior season where he plays on the national team and misses 3 or 4 football games, which they all lost, and then when he comes back, they win almost all of them. He's quite an amazing athlete. And you look at him as a baseball player, and you wouldn't think he's a great high school quarterback, but he was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's super versatile. By the way, I just watched the play. I think it's the first time I've ever seen that, Mike. I mean, he broke like 8 tackles about 15 to 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage and then chucked it 40 yards on the run down the field. Now, did the guy drop it in the end zone?
No, he caught it.
Okay.
It went into overtime.
Okay.
It's one of the great West Side teams, great high school teams ever. And by the way, speaking of transfers, Jalen Lloyd is the number 1 listed receiver at Okie State. That kind of pisses me off. But
I don't know if it pisses me off, but
I'll let you go.
Okay, bye, Mike. Good to hear from you. Look at that. We knew that Random Mike was in the queue there, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll give him the lead in of Cam Kojal. I don't know if he was going to talk about Cam Kojal, but I anticipated that he was, and he came through for us.
He always does.
He always does.
Imagine not wanting to talk to random Mike or any caller.
We love phone calls.
Yeah.
I love talking on the phone. I got a phone call last night.
Whoa.
I answered it, and I said it. Hello, and then we talked.
Our very own Chris Prudon called me several times yesterday.
That we're going to be talking to Chris Prudon on the phone a lot over the next 2 weeks.
And I just do what he says because
I love that.
He's got a reason.
And the directions become very simple. Like if Mike would have texted, if random Mike would have texted into the show and he would have said, hey, pull up Cam Kojal's senior football highlights and watch the first play, I probably would have been like,
I'll get to it whenever I got time.
Yeah. But when he calls, there's a real action plan in there. You got to do it. You got to do it right now while I'm talking. I'll give you time. And there it goes. Jimmy writes in.
Hi, Jimmy.
I love the awkward waste of time phone calls. Add into no, these are not waste of time phone calls.
I believe he's talking more about like the beginning of a phone call. Like, hey, how you doing? How's the family? Like,
good.
With a text, you can just
but come on. There is. I'm cool with pleasantries.
Okay.
I had people talk about emails and like what's the proper email greeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I hope this email finds you well. It's like, no, put something at the beginning. Zhuzh it up for me a little bit. Make it look good. I'm probably not going to answer the question like, how are you? How's your family? And then when you get to the point, hey, send me a form or whatever it is. I'm probably not going to answer the question, but I like that it's there. I'm okay with a little chit chat. Yeah, I'm okay with a little chit chat. I'm okay with
okay.
I'm okay with that.
I gotta think
pleasant.
You're the outlier in your age group for that, right?
Really? I don't know. I don't know that very many people would admit like I really enjoy mindless chit chat. I'm not here to say like I enjoy it, but I like that it's there. I think it has a place. Maybe you'll find out something. Maybe the person will say, I'm not doing so good today. Very few people will say that.
That's true.
I'm not doing so good today, but
not great.
Thank you for asking. I really needed this. Don't skip the pleasantries. It's nice. It's nice. Speaking of quarterbacks, I want to bring this to you real quick. So Steve Sipple posted this on his message board. Steve Sipple has a message board.
Wow.
By the way, he talked to Dayton Raiola.
Got to be very clear. Dayton.
So he's the younger brother of Dylan Raiola. Yes, that guy. So Dayton.
If Dylan's our baby, then what is Dayton?
He is our baby's baby.
Our baby's baby.
His baby's baby. 2026, right? So he is. Nebraska has Dylan Raiola. They have TJ Lateef in the class below him. Then they have Dayton Raiola, and then they have Trey Taylor.
I'm hearing a lot of things about Trey Taylor.
So many things about Trey Taylor.
Second coming.
He might be really good. I don't know.
That's
but
what they're saying.
He won't be playing college football for a little while now. But it's good that he's committed to Nebraska. And it's good that he's working on Nebraska's behalf to recruit. But there's a guy that we like to skip over, Dayton Raiola. He's a little bit more quiet, but seems as if from a body perspective, he has sort of started to grow into his body a little bit, which
Does
is
he
good.
like high school hoops?
People were commenting in at the Friday Night Lights thing or the whatever thing that they did over the weekend, the Boneyard Bash, that it's like, whoa, he's a pretty big guy now. Watch out. And as Steve Sipple posted, he's got some quotes that might make you go, All right. So what is our general opinion in this state on 7-on-7 football?
Oh, wow.
7-on-7 football. What do you
I think it changed over the weekend.
do you hear 7-on-7 football and you kind of roll your eyes a little bit? It's like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
Why do we need to pay attention to this?
Yes. Oh, you don't have enough people to have all 11?
Well, there is. I've heard
community is so small.
Well, that's a possibility. That's a necessity to play 7-on-7 football. But the 7-on-7 like circuit around the country, right? It is. It's like the AAU. Like, hey, let's just pick up and we'll get eyes on us for all these wide receivers and quarterbacks and defensive backs around the country. Although it's not particularly advantageous for the defensive backs to just get burnt to a crisp in this 7-on-7 thing all the time. But I digress. So 7-on-7 football. I would say if the state had a general opinion on 7-on-7 football, they would sort of roll their eyes a little bit. Okay, whatever. Talk to me about like, yeah, but you still have to do the physical parts of football. You still got to want to be mean. You still got to want to run over a guy, run through a brick wall, stuff like that. Well, Dayton Raiola handshake meme with that thought process. Sipple writes this. Dayton isn't a big fan of 7-on-7 football in general. God bless him, Sipple writes. Which is very, very good. Quote, I've never really gotten into the 7-on-7 business or the club teams, he said. I normally use that time to go and train, so I don't really know much about it. He did know that the Boneyard event was a, quote, big deal for his future program. I saw the kids coming through, and they looked like some pretty good athletes, he said. Pretty understated. Yeah, whatever. Look like pretty good athletes, I suppose. So, what's the value of 7-on-7 football? Steve Sipple asks. Dayton Raiola, 2026 quarterback, says, quote, I don't really see any value in it.
Oh, wow.
It's totally different in 11-man when you have 3 or 4 defenders coming at you and they're trying to take your head off, you know? Plus, there's a bunch of moving parts in what I say is real football, which is 11-on-11, he said. In 7-on-7, you don't have to take a drop if you don't want to. You could just go from one side of the field to the other like it's nothing. You can't do that in real football. So that's why I don't really partake in it. When I do it with my school, the 7-on-7 stuff, I try to treat it like a real football game. I'll go through my progressions and take my drops that I'd actually take. As Sipple writes and finishes the message board post, that's maturity, pure and simple.
Maturity.
What do we think about Dayton Raiola? I'm kind of vibing with this kid right now.
Yeah.
I'm vibing with him. So the thought process on young Dayton is that he seems. There was this picture from over the weekend that was like him and Dylan standing next to each other, and Dylan's not doing anything, right? Dayton's actually working out. He's on the field and he's performing football activities.
Dylan's not doing anything?
Not at this. He gets in his work before 6 o'clock in the morning. So at this, they're next to each other on the field at Memorial Stadium, and Dylan's out there and he's got his head buried in his phone, and this is not a slight to Dylan, by the way. Please don't put it on the internet. This is a slight to Dylan. But he's got his head buried in his phone, and he's got like his his bag on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But you compare him to his little brother, who's 2 years younger than him, and he's like, he's got this kind of angry, mean look on his face, and he's grinding, he's sweating and stuff like that. And people are like, now, this is an interesting picture. People seem to think that Dayton Raiola, it feels to me like Dayton has more of the bleep you that his father, their father, Dominic, was so famous for over the years, right? Like you played center in the NFL for that long, and you were part of a few great teams at Nebraska and one of the all-time greats on the offensive line. You got to have a little bit of bleep you to you, right? You're a leader, you're a captain. Dayton seems to have that kind of hard edge to him where, and once again, not a slight against Dylan. Don't put it on the internet that I'm slighting Dylan, because I think there's a lot of different ways that you could do this. But what I am saying is people in this state seem to gravitate more toward those personalities than they do the other one. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, no, not at all.
Right.
There's a lot of...
Dayton has endeared himself to Nebraska fans by doing nothing in a way that Dylan Raiola didn't really have the time to, especially as a recruit. We didn't really get to know him much as a recruit because he flipped late, and obviously there was a relationship, and then there wasn't for a while, and then there was again right at the very end.
No need to ask why or whose fault it was.
That came together sort of quick, and we've gotten to know Dylan a little bit, but you get to see how he ticks a little bit. But now we're starting to understand his little brother as well. And Trey Taylor is the 2027 quarterback. He is sort of there's some substance there, but there's a lot of flash. Like he's on social media like a lot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Dayton is like, I don't care about any of that crap. Can I just like hit some dudes? Now, the quarterback position,
They don't let you hit a lot of dudes.
no, but people love football players.
Mhm.
And it does seem like Dayton has that football player to him.
There's a lot of lunch pail in this state,
Yeah.
and he's a lunch pail guy, right? Like, he's going to endear himself to a large portion of the fan base.
Kind of interesting, isn't it?
Very.
I hadn't really thought about because Dayton gets lost in the wash in this conversation. TJ Lateef is already on campus. Trey Taylor is out there making noise in the 7-on-7s, and he's peer recruiting like crazy. Basically,
everyone has a column about Trey
he
Taylor.
basically works for Nebraska football at this point, and there are obvious advantages to that. But Dayton, he grew up, enjoying Nebraska football and has a really good picture of what it's like. And I think really, seems like he's wired in a similar way to his dad, which I find fascinating. So all I'm saying is don't skip over Dayton. Don't skip over Dayton. This is not to say that he's going to be a good player or a better player than anybody, but like I said, we seem to gravitate around here, and there's good reason, because I don't know, like, it's just endearing, right? It's like, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to play football. I'm going to get bigger, better, stronger. And if some dude, wants to, try and run me over, I'm going to try and fight him or something like. He seems to have that hard edge to him. I want to see. I do want to see a little bit of that from Dylan. If there was a criticism, or if there was a little bit of a criticism on him, like I do want to see that hard edge. I don't want him to force anything. I don't want him to fake anything. But I do want to see him getting after dudes.
A little fire.
Yeah,
you're the leader.
Yeah,
lead.
And I'm not talking about just like outwardly like celebrating and stuff like that. Like that's one thing. But I'm talking about how you interact with your teammates. I think there is no doubt that, and we've seen this over the years, teams play harder for quarterbacks that they know they have their backs and they're one of them, and they'll listen to. That's part of being a leader. Yeah, you got to have a voice, but you got to have a voice that people really take seriously. You have to be an arm and extension of the coach. And I do think there is real positives to having that hard edge as a quarterback. So I'm watching that one. I'm watching you, Dayton Raiola, and I like them quotes about 7-on-7. I don't really see any value in it.
I don't know.
Whatever.
A lot of bells, a lot of whistles.
I can go around and throw the football in my backyard anytime I want. Okay. I like hitting people. I like football. I don't know what this is, but I like football.
He's going to be a star.
I'm vibing with you. All right. Quick break. Allan Bell is up on the other side. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Allan Bell, the AB3 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, here we are on the doorstep of the College World Series, and we're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Allan Bell of Driving the Line. AB, hello, how are you?
Hello, sir. Doing fantastic, man. You doing all right?
I'm doing great. I do have a question for you. So, I have several, I guess, because this is an interview after all. But the first one being this: so Tennessee, your boys, they're out in the Super Regional against Arkansas. I saw a lot of chatter online. There's just a lot of Tennessee fans like thinking that they kind of invented baseball. I'm very confused. I'm very confused by this. They play with a lot of emotion down there, of course. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, Fry, they need to calm down. All right, look, number one, you're right. There was baseball being played before last season.
That's right.
So we can all get a no, man.
And people were having fun too before last season.
Yeah. Hey, shake your fist at the clouds. Nobody's gonna be having fun around here. No, man. Like I think that most Tennessee fans understand. Look, it's a good year, but went about as far as you could. And Arkansas might be the best team in the country.
Yes, I would agree with that completely. Yes,
they're good. Yeah, you could get them plus 200 right now to win it all.
That's what that's definitely, yeah. Okay. So they're plus 200, LSU's plus 230. They just happen to play each other in the first game. And then there's a big drop off, and you probably start to look toward like the other side of the bracket. Cause then you're thinking, all right, who's going to come out of that left side who might play one of those teams in the final? There's got to be some value in one of those. But I will say that plus 200 is still pretty solid on Arkansas. Would have been better if you would have got it a couple weeks ago, but still pretty solid now.
Oh yeah, the fact that there's only 8 teams left, and you can get the favorite at 2-1. Yeah, man. Like I take it, and you nailed it right there. Like that Arkansas LSU game 1, whoever wins that is in a huge spot, right, to make a run at this thing for real. And the fact that Arkansas seen LSU, played LSU, knows LSU, right? I mean, look, just bet Arkansas. This team is really good, man.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Why do you think it ended up being so different this year? Or last year we were talking about how the big wigs were gonna, just bowl over the sport, and there was, all SEC and ACC teams last year. Now we have 6 different conferences represented in this thing. I guess if you could sum it all up, why do we think it ended up this way in Omaha this year?
Yeah, look, it's how all of these sports in college are going, right? Like the NIL transfer portal era, like for the negatives that are out there, and that's for sure. There are positives to this thing too, and we saw it in the college football playoff. We were seeing it here. Like everybody has a shot, man. Like everybody's got a shot, and that's a good thing. That's what makes March Madness so awesome in college basketball, even though that, quite frankly, is the most chalk won tournament in any postseason. Like, it's always blue bloods that win in basketball, but it's awesome because everybody's got a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, and there's a lot of stuff that happens along the way, right? And it's not completely uncommon in basketball to see your double digit plus seeds get to the Sweet 16, and stuff like that. So like, I do think there's just an air of randomness in the postseason, and I think that's something to really remember.
Oh yeah, and that's my next point, is that baseball is like water, like it always finds a way. That's what makes baseball great, man. There's no clock. You know what I mean? Like there's 27 outs that you have to get, and dude, it's a sport built on geometry and randomness. And it's just great. That's why this tournament every year, it's always different. Every single College World Series, man, is a different story to tell. And this one's going to be a really fun one. Can the big dog Arkansas finally slay that dragon? Or is it going to be one of the young bucks, right? Like, it's going to be awesome, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite that's not Arkansas or LSU, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, look, watch out for Oregon State, man. This team is playing great baseball. They're hitting the ball. They can, look at deficits and not freak out. They can make comebacks. They've gone through a lot to get here, as all these teams have. But watch out for Oregon State, man. They whooped up on Florida State for a reason.
They're minus 164 in their first game, and then against Louisville. And they are, wow, you can get them at pretty good value, plus 650 to win the title right now.
Which is great number, man. That's a great number for a team like Oregon State. Like they can cause people problems quickly, man. But all these teams can.
Yeah. The other question I have for you, this is sort of betting related, I suppose. And I imagine it's sort of similar to the actual field. Who wins the Jello Shot Challenge in Omaha this next week?
Oh, so yeah, that's the most important question. So LSU fans have set the record. They set the model.
That's right.
Okay. It's gonna have here's the hard part. LSU fans by just regular default are gonna smoke everyone. They just drink way more than anyone. So I don't think that there's anybody in the field of the other seven that have if there were a Nebraska could come in because you've just got numbers, man, and you've got people that have money, right? And I'm not saying that about the teams that are here that don't. That's not the point. What I'm saying is that, yeah, to win it, you're going to have to spend a lot because the LSU fans spend.
Yeah.
Todd Graves and his checkbook are coming to town.
So what happened last time was that the Raising Cane CEO came by and he's like, I'll take $10,000 worth. Where does that put us? I don't know. I feel like that's defeating the purpose a little bit.
You want to know a crazy fun fact? That guy owns the largest condo in all of Nashville.
So he's got enough money to buy. He's got enough money to buy the Jello shots, is what you're saying? Yeah.
Oh my. Well, yeah. When Tennessee fans tried to set that record last year, it was like, no, sit down. We invented drinking.
It's great. Maybe Arkansas can give them a run for their money, but yeah, the LSU fans. The other part of that is there's a bunch of them that are just here because they've been here so consistently and they're so welcoming over the there's LSU baseball fans who live in Omaha and they pretend they wear LSU shirts to the College World Series.
And you know what? How awesome is that?
It's great.
I love the fact. The best part is that every year, man, this sport is getting more and more popular, and people are figuring out that it's awesome. It's awesome. So I'm just glad that we're getting more and more, man, because it's a great sport.
Where do you stand on the NBA Finals right now? Obviously, the game one with Halliburton shot felt like Indiana kind of stole that one a little bit. Oklahoma City took care of business in game two, so we're squared up going back to Indianapolis tomorrow night. Thunder 5-point favorites in that game. Does that seem heavy, light? Where are you at on that?
Well, they dropped that number, but the fact that I'm going to roll with Indianapolis here. I'm going to take the Pacers and the points in every game. And I think that, there's going to be a point. The Thunder are going to win the series. I think we all agree with that.
I do, for sure, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're just better. You know what I mean? We can all be honest. But Indiana is not going to give up, at all. There's no white flag. There's no, no, man. They have proven they can come back on anybody. Now, they don't want to have to do that, but the reason being, I'm going to take Indiana in points because the books are going to give you big numbers. Plus 5.5 at home. Yeah, I'll take that, man.
You can get right now I'm looking on FanDuel. So you already have 2 games in the books, Indiana game 1, Oklahoma City game 2. If you think Oklahoma City wins each of the next 3 games and finishes the series that way, that is the far and away favorite as far as the series results are concerned. Plus 180, which is actually not I don't know. I think a lot of people think that this is just going to be a sweep from here on out, but maybe you think differently.
Yeah, I do. Look, I mean, I don't think, again, I think the Thunder are going to win. I think that they're definitely the better and deeper team, but it's not going to be a roller. That's why we saw Indiana, in game 1. That. Yeah, it was a surprise. It wasn't that big. I mean, it's the NBA Finals. People were freaking out, how could this happen? They're pretty good.
Yeah.
These guys are not bad. So yeah, man, like I would bet the Thunder to win it, but Indiana will win another game. Like that I'm not concerned about that at all.
So the question is which one, right? If you're trying to figure this out the rest of the way, is the most likely one that they win tomorrow?
I think game 4.
Okay.
Like I think I would go game 4 because
everybody thinks at that point that OKC is just going to win and run away with it, and then they're up 3-1, and Indiana says, "No, we still got a little left in the tank." Okay, I like that thought process.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go.
I'm thinking. I'm looking at it, Indiana. So we're at 1-1 right now. So then game 3 goes to Oklahoma City. Game 4 goes to Oklahoma City, and then just when you think they're about to stomp them out, Indiana grabs game 5, and then OKC finishes them off in game 6. I don't see this going to 7. I just really have a hard time getting to the point where they're going to win 2 more games.
Yeah, I agree. 4-2 seems right.
Yeah.
Like I agree with that. 100% agree with that. Look, it's going to be basically the Knicks. Like that, what you just laid out is essentially what the Knicks did to the Pacers. You
Right.
know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, AB. Well, we'll let you go. Happy watching this weekend. Another year without you at the College World Series. I think, right? You're not coming up, right?
No, I will not be there. However, I will miss all of you.
Okay. That's good enough. I will miss you. We will miss you too.
Oh, man. I love it, guys. I appreciate you guys having me back.
Yep. See ya. That's Allan Bell of Driving the Line. You can check out his stuff there. And one day we'll get him up. One day we'll get him rolling.
It's going to happen.
We have a chair for many esteemed local and non-local dignitaries at the Omaha Baseball Village and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take care of you. We will take care of you. And if you're cool, I think Allan Bell's in the cool club.
I would say so.
All right. Maybe that's what our next bid is. Cool club.
Cool club. Ooh. Then all the guests are like,
"Are you in the
am I in the cool club?
Am I in the Happer Show cool club
Well,
yet?"
if you have to ask, you're probably not in.
Is there an initiation No, we're not. We don't do hazing, but you
have to beat up another show's guest.
You have to go on another show and say a special word.
Yeah.
All right. There might be something there. We'll take a break. Josh has the odd news when we return on 1620 The Zone.
Upon further review, the host's last statement was deemed to be somewhat comical. Somewhat. The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Hokey Screw writes in. Allan Bell drops a Husker shout out and Happer rolls his eyes. Happer did not roll his eyes.
Do we need to go back, check the tape?
We should probably check the tape. I have no idea what I did, but I don't think I had any sort of a reaction to him saying that Nebraska would challenge LSU for the Jell-O shots because they absolutely. I mean, Nebraska would win. If Nebraska's in the College World Series, they'd win the Jell-O shot thing. They would. There'd be too many of them.
Yeah.
The numbers don't add up.
People would just drive in from all over, like Gretna.
Think about what the stadium would look like.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be close. They would run away with it.
And part of that ticket would be, well, we got to go to Rocco's.
Exactly. We have to make our. We might never get back here again. Mm-hmm. We need to make our mark right now. So
the university needs us. Hold on, the university didn't ask you to do anything.
Yeah, but in a roundabout way, they did. And it's to take home that Jell-O shot trophy.
That's right.
I saw Livy Dunn commented on the Jell-O shot video for LSU making it.
Livy?
Yes.
What'd she say?
She said, "Can't wait."
Can't
or
wait.
Something like that. Makes you feel like she'll be in town again. She loves the zoo.
She could come back to the zoo.
And who wants to watch her boyfriend pitch 7 innings, give up 1 hit, and lose again?
He's the new Ohtani.
He's got problems.
He's what's that old timey baseball player's name?
The Mike Trout tweet.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Patches O'Houlihan or whatever it was. Yeah, I gotta find that Mike Trout tweet. But yes, okay. What do we have today on the odd news?
Well, we go to North Carolina. The sheriff's office assisted in capturing a nearly 400-pound alligator.
Ah. Nice.
And when you're a sheriff's department in a small town and you catch a 400-pound alligator, you have to have a funny caption about it on Facebook.
Facebook.
And what was theirs? Great question, Connor. I'm glad you asked, because they cited the alligator on suspicion of being a dinosaur without the proper papers.
Ah, good one. That's good.
The Onslow County Sheriff's Office said on social media deputies responded alongside wildlife resource personnel when the prehistoric perp was caught loitering near the double yellow line on Old 30 Road. That's how you know it's a small town, because they can just say near the double yellow line and people know what the hell you're talking about.
I know where that is.
The gator, dubbed Pepe by the sheriff's office, was estimated to weigh between 350 and 400 pounds.
Wasn't that the name of the stupid penguin that everybody was freaking out about?
Yes, Nick titled yesterday's Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Have you met Pepe?
The penguin.
Yes.
Who threw out the first pitch at the White Sox game.
Not the conservative meme, Pepe.
Oh, what's that?
I don't remember.
Conservative memes, Josh.
I know.
What part of the internet are you on?
Well, you'd be shocked. Pepe the Frog.
Pepe the Frog. Okay, I don't know any of the Pepes.
Mm-hmm. You have no opinion on any Pepe. Pepe Le Pew?
The penguin seems fine. The alligator seems fine. I know nothing about the other one that you mentioned.
Okay.
Conservative Pepe.
Look it up.
Okay.
Connor,
what do I type in to get there?
Pepe the Frog.
Pepe the Frog. Okay.
See what comes up for you.
Anti-Defamation League.
That's right.
Oh, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That guy says bad things a lot.
He does.
Okay. Got it.
Connor, you're of flight.
I like flying.
Yeah. You like going places. You like flying. You love our airport.
I do. Well, not at the moment.
The whole central terminal's gone.
It's
now.
You know what's funny, Josh? I had that rant one day about how like nobody ever needs to go from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 or whatever it is, the one side to the other. Why would you ever need to do that? You only need to use one side of the airport. You park on that side and then you go in that side and you come out that side.
That's right.
Well, when I went to this is actually hilarious. I'm glad I had to eat my words on this one. When we went to the Big East tournament, we flew on one airline and came back on another.
Oh.
and the other one happened to be on the other side.
Oh no.
And so I was like, damn it. I wish there was a central turn. I wish I could walk through to the other side. Then I had to be a peasant and walk outside. It was embarrassing.
Well, you're familiar with Real ID, I imagine.
Yes.
You need your Real ID now if you're going to hop on a plane.
Yeah.
What is Real ID? I don't really.
It's just an ID.
It's the star that's been on the Nebraska driver's license for the last 7 years.
Yep.
And they didn't tell you what it meant. Well, the TSA has begun enforcing the requirement for Real ID, and they would like everyone to know that a Costco card does not count as your Real ID membership.
I don't know who these people are, man.
Yeah.
I don't know who's trying to do this.
Oh, I forgot to get the Real ID. I bet my Costco card will do just as fine, right?
Get a driver's license and you'll be good.
We love hot dogs and rotisserie chickens as much as the next person, but please stop telling people their Costco card counts as Real ID because it absolutely does not, the TSA said on social media this week.
Good. Thanks, TSA.
Accepted substitutes for Real ID include passports, border crossing, and permanent residence cards. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a Costco.
Not Costco.
Not Costco, not a library card, not a Blockbuster card.
Maybe the confusion comes in with the Costco Gold Star. You have a Costco Gold Star membership.
They have a Gold Star on their membership as well.
Yes.
Okay. That must be where the confusion is coming
That's
from.
probably where the confusion comes from. But no, I would not try to present that to the TSA agent at the airport.
Interesting. Yeah, just do what they say. And you'll be fine.
That's what Cody says. A Costco card has a star in it, so we see the confusion.
Okay.
But then you thought about it and you thought, actually, no, this probably is a bad idea. I should use my driver's license instead.
Yes. We go to Clearwater, Florida for story number 3, where a man called 911 yesterday to complain. He said, hey, I'm at this club for various gentlemen and gentlemanly things, and I've given this woman $300, and she will not engage in relations with me.
Well, that's not a part of it.
That's not a part of it. Right. Good point, Connor. Investigators say that Sultan Anolfoy called police around 1 a.m. Sunday with this tale of woe regarding his evening at the Oz Gentlemen's Club.
Oz the Mentalist?
It might be a spinoff, yes. He told police that security took $300 from him in exchange for various acts.
Sure.
And he was not given those acts, and he would like the police to show up. When police did show up, he was intoxicated, smelled of booze, and was slurring his words.
He should probably be arrested.
Arrested for misuse of the 911 system. Have you read this story? Did you know that was the exact next sentence coming out of my mouth? Okay.
No.
Sultan was booked into the county jail. He was released on $500 cash bail.
Sure.
Court records.
It ended up being expensive for him that night.
Yes.
And he did not get what he wanted.
He had just turned 21 a week prior.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Many people coming with quotes from Chris Rock's No Sex in the Champagne Room song, to which I appreciate all of the references.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get them, but I'm glad.
It's a song Chris Rock did.
Sure.
It was a parody of Baz Luhrmann's Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen.
That sounds awesome.
Which was a song.
Keep going. Keep explaining things until I hear something that I know.
Well, it was a spoken word song that was played on Top 40 radio, and it wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris Rock said, I can make this better. And he made the song No Sex in the Champagne Room, where he said things like, when someone smudges your Puma, let it slide. No reason to spend the next 10 years of your life in jail because somebody smudged your Puma.
Wow. Thank you, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is the odd news. We'll be back after this on 1620, The Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 99, wear sunscreen.
This is that Baz Luhrmann song.
If I could offer you,
I've heard that line before.
Future, sunscreen.
Are we gonna get copyright stricken because of this?
It depends on how much we talk over it.
Please stop it. What is this guy talking about?
Or is the rest of my advice?
Make it end.
Has no basis.
What is that?
You didn't like that?
I've heard him talking about wearing sunscreen.
Yeah, you got to wear sunscreen.
I've heard that clip. I've heard the clip before. Oh, now there's music.
Enjoy
Some
the
spoken
power
word
and beauty
song.
of your youth.
Josh,
This was on the radio as a child.
they put some crazy things in the radio. Remember that one guy, the War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Orson Welles. Okay.
Constantly talk about it on Jeopardy.
That is an answer probably every day. Who is Orson Welles? Yes, you got it.
What is War of the Worlds?
That is correct.
Mhm.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Noon hour of the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone. MLB or baseball reaction, overreaction coming up at the bottom of the hour. And, of course, we will explain to you the new reality television show that has hit the Happer household.
New?
Not new,
Okay.
but the one that was explained to me yesterday.
Great.
We'll do that during this hour as well. Couple things here. Rules. First of all, rules. So the house settlement was house settled on Friday at like 11 o'clock in the nighttime. It's like, oh, college athletics just changed forever. That's really cool. You could just pay players now. I was thinking about this last night. I remember some of my, when the NIL thing started to become a conversation or like a possibility several years ago, I remember thinking like, oh, okay, like I can get on board with this, but I really don't see a way in a world in which we ever really pay, like the universities directly pay the players like they're professionals.
Seemed like a good middle ground, right?
Yeah, like I think we're in a good spot. Like that's fine, that's cool, but I don't know. I just think we're a long way off from the universities actually paying the players. And here we are. Welcome to 2025. Everybody thinks things have changed in a flash. So with this and the crippling of the NCAA that has now happened, they owe almost $3 billion in back charges to former student athletes who have not been paid over the last several years here. So that's one thing. And then basically the question is, what are the rules? We may have a pretty good idea as to what the rules are. Sam talked about this yesterday on the show and gave this kind of impassioned speech about it. The whole, you could pay your student athletes the 20 and a half, part of the, however much of the pie, the $20.5 million you want, that's the maximum, the, 22% or whatever of the total athletic department revenue. That's going to go up, by the way, as we go on. It's not going to be $20.5 million forever. It'll be more next year and more the year after that, more the year after that, because that's the way money works. And so you could pay those players, but it would behoove you to, of course, have a plan and figure out how much you have to spend and spend it wisely. We know that part. But then the question was, what happens to the whole NIL part of this? NIL has been used as a pay-for-play since basically it's existed. Maybe not so much at the beginning when it was fun and pure and people were doing logos like beef jerky and cam juice and things like that, making t-shirts and showing up at events and stuff like that. It's changed a little bit. It's become a pay-for-play system, and it's become an attraction model for universities and coaching staffs to entice student athletes to their programs. Well, now part of the deal was, in order to pay students NIL money, it will have to be cleared through a clearinghouse. Any deal that will pocket the student athlete over $600 will have to be cleared through a clearinghouse to make sure that everything's on the up and up here. And this is not pay for play, and this will be followed up on and things like that. Okay, interesting. What an interesting idea. So then the question is, who makes these rules? Who enforces these rules? And if somebody breaks these rules, then what happens? And that was a lot of the discussion point, I think, over the weekend. I'll read from a story from ESPN, Heather Dinich yesterday. Hours after the House versus NCAA settlement was approved on Friday, former MLB executive Brian Seeley was named CEO of a new enforcement organization called the College Sports Commission. His job will be to lead the team responsible for enforcement of the new rules around revenue sharing, third-party payments to players for NIL deals, and roster limits. One of the biggest questions, though, is what happens when these rules are broken? It's a great question, Josh.
I love that you're thinking.
Have we thought about this? ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips, who spoke Monday on a Zoom conference with Greg Sankey, the Petiti man, Big Idea Commissioner man, and Teresa Gould of the Pac-12, not Jan Levinson Gould, and not the former MGM guy who was fired faster than Larry Scott.
Just sell my candles. It's fun.
Serenity by Jan. Said they've all had ideas in what happens if they break the rules, but nothing they're, quote, ready to come forward with. Ultimately, Phillips said the rules are boundaries and will be under Seeley, the commissioner of this thing, his purview. Well, we're in the process of developing some of those rules and structure and overall implementation of that. Now that we have Brian on board, I think we'll be able to move a little bit quicker. But we want to get this right. It's one of those areas until you have somebody leading the College Sports Commission, it's difficult to get together with that individual and start some of that framework that will be in place. Your Mark, Big Idea Commissioner man, called it progress over perfection and said that there will be challenges, but they will meet them over time. Our schools want rules, and we're providing rules, and will be governed by those rules. And if you break those rules, the ramifications will be punitive. Mr. Big Idea Commissioner man, as he's known to do, talks a bit of a big game.
Well, it's right there in the title, Big Idea Commissioner.
He has giant ideas.
Uh-huh.
That's for sure.
Sure.
So the question that Sam brought up yesterday on the show, I think is fascinating and a good discussion point. Do college sports, and specifically college football, because really what we're talking about at the heart of this is college football, right? What have I always said about the sport in particular? It's always been defined by the schools and the programs and the teams and the coaches that find edges. What are edges? Edges are basically loopholes in rules.
That's right.
Nebraska used loopholes and rules for a very long time, whether it's being the acquisition of players, updating and advancing its offense, and like we're talking about football rules, we're talking about big picture governing rules, things like that. College football has always had programs, it's not just Nebraska, but they're an example, who have found edges. So the question is, the commissioners there in their stupid Zoom call yesterday said, well, we want rules and we want to abide by them. And if we don't abide by them, then there will be problems. These big time college football programs and big time athletic departments currently have an edge, as we've talked about in sports. And their edge is how much money they have to spend. How much have we talked about the imbalance in college athletics? It is the big guys and the little guys. It is the have-beens and the not, right? And we're talking about governing those schools differently and things like that. So we do have a bit of a separation. We do have an edge. There is edges in college athletics at the moment, and it is based upon how much your fan base supports your program and how many wealthy donors and advocates you have for those athletic departments. Do we think that the schools that have the edge, I don't know, let's say Ohio State, let's say Georgia or whatever it might be, do we think that those schools are going to willingly give up their edge? Even though it costs a lot, and this was Sam's point yesterday. You know, at some point, he said at some point there needs to be some like collegiality in this, right? There needs to be an agreement upon everybody. Is like, are we really going to be paying our college football rosters $50 million a year? You know, if we're talking about $18 or so million for the revenue sharing piece of the pie that goes to the football team, and then however, $30 million in NIL, does it keep going up year after year after year? At what point does it reach its limit? At what point do the donors get tapped out? At what point does this not work anymore? This is their edge. So the question at the heart of this is, do the schools who have that edge want to willingly give up their edge? Knowing that the enforcement of these rules is a little sticky at the moment. Who is it? I don't know. Right? And even though it costs them so much money in taxes, their donor base, and all these different things, it costs them a lot more money to have that edge. My question, I guess, would be, like, why would a program like Ohio State be willing to give that up? You're saying, all right, we will willingly allow the playing field to be leveled here. Like it or not, and they wouldn't admit this, the big time winners, like it or not, they have an advantage that just not a lot of athletic departments and football programs in the country can take advantage of. They're not capable of it. They don't have it. Right? So if you're playing by those same rules as everybody else, but it's you who has, if you're playing 6th grade girls basketball and you have randomly a 6th grade girl on your team who is 6'4".
Oh yeah.
She's 6'4".
We're running through you.
Are you going to stop having the 6'4" girl just because it's not fair to the other teams?
Find your own 6'4" girl.
Exactly. This is what God gave to me, a 6'4" 6th grader that is just killing everybody on the basketball court. It's amazing. Why would I willingly give that up? I wouldn't. I would take the 6'4" 6th grader, Josh. I would. And I would win as many basketball games as I possibly could.
And I would record all of them
and put them on TikTok.
Watch the games back and just laugh.
And that's basically what Ohio State does. Why would they give it up? Why would they say, no, I think it'd be good for the greater good of the sport to make sure there was a maximum height in the league of 5'6".
Competition is good.
I think that'd be fine. And I think we can win with only 5'6" girls. That's fine. Sorry, 6'4" girl, you can go somewhere else. But you can't play here anymore because there are rules. I think that would be great for the game. I think that would be great for parity in the sport, and I think it would be a leveling out, and I think that is the dream that these college football or these college conference commissioners are trying to sell us right now. That's the dream. That's the world where they're saying, man, I like, doesn't this sound great where everybody's kind of, you only get a maximum, it's a salary cap of $20.5 million, and the NIL is all up to snuff, and it rolls through the clearinghouse, and we all live in a perfect, beautiful society. College football's really never been that way. The NFL's that way, where everybody kind of plays by the same rules. There's different markets and more attractive destinations and stuff like that. But generally, everybody's playing under the same umbrella. College football's never really been that way. And so forever, like literally forever, there's a handful or more or, whatever amount of schools who just, the rules are the same for them, but they have unlimited resources. They have more resources at their fingertips than everybody. They have a 6'4" 6th grader on their team. And they're like, why would I ever say, why would I give that up? So I think that's the rub. And do we live in a world soon where the NIL clearinghouse thing is legit and everybody's kind of playing on the same playing field as far as the salary cap is concerned and the players and how much money they can earn? I just kind of find that hard to believe. I don't want it to not work. I don't want it to not work, right? Like I think that's a great idea. And I think the commissioners are trying to sell to us that it is a great idea. But I'm just like, there's going to be schools out there that always find edges, and until there's a real enforcement process on this entire thing, they're going to push that to the very, very limit as they possibly can. And so, I don't know. Like, once again, you're giving me the 6'4" girl on the 6th grade basketball team, and I'm taking it.
And
thank you. Bye.
Like, you don't have to be clever anymore. It used to be, okay, here's your bag of cash. This is under the table. Don't tell anyone that you're getting paid to be here, or like the whole thing's going to come down. Whereas now you can just be like, hey, here's the money. Don't drive to practice in a new Benz.
Yeah.
And we're fine.
But
you can tell people you got some money.
Absolutely. And they can use it as an enticement tool to bring in student athletes to their programs. If the NIL clearinghouse works, how the conference commissioners are telling us it's going to work, then that won't be a thing anymore, with the exception of the $20.5 million right now, the percentage of the revenue that you could pay the student athletes.
This came from the clearinghouse, right, Coach? Yeah, totally.
Yeah, whatever.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, whatever. John emails in.
Hi, John.
On the Equitable Bank inbox. There are weights for Pee Wee football. Yeah. Ohio State's been playing with a striper quarterback who just runs over everybody for a long time. You know the stripers, Josh? The stripers are the fat kids that they put the stripes on so that you couldn't put them. They can't have the ball. You put them in at running back and they would just run over everybody because they were 200-pound 6th graders. You know?
I was unfamiliar, but it makes sense now, right?
We had a couple of stripers on our team who would have been incredible running backs. They would have scored touchdowns every single time because they would have run over the 98-pound children.
I like watching that, though.
Yeah.
I like watching the Derrick Henrys of the world run over children.
You don't like it if you're a 6th grader and you're not a striper and you're getting run over by a striper.
That's right.
I don't want to take on a striper.
If my kid was playing against Derrick Henry, I'd be like, that's not fair.
You can't play against Derrick Henry. No. You're not allowed to play football anymore, actually. So, yeah. That's the rub. That's the situation that we're dealing with right now. Great ideas. Who's enforcing them? And when will you enforce them? And the commissioners are like, yeah, I like this. We'll get there. We'll get there. Before we talk about baseball and baseball reaction, overreaction, let's talk about TikToks in baseball, Josh.
Okay.
All right. So I didn't do this topic yesterday, but I figured you'd have some thoughts on it.
Oh, I got takes.
Coming into the forefront in the mainstream sports world, quote unquote sports world, the Savannah Bananas. All right. I believe that we saw events over the weekend that could precipitate a baseball culture war, a baseball war over the weekend. And I think it was always going to be this way. Game 2 of Florida State, Oregon State in the Super Regional started on ESPN News because the Savannah Bananas were on ESPN 2 before that. And they played in Charlotte on I believe it was the second night of their sold out deal, and at the Carolina Panther Stadium, a football stadium. Josh, have you heard about how many people?
Second night in a football stadium?
Have you heard about yes, have you heard about the football stadium? They do these tours and they pack football stadiums. You probably know because the guy in the yellow suit has told you about it a million times.
Clemson, all about Clemson.
Those guys went long. They had to do too many TikTok breaks for dancing, and then the real baseball game had to be put on a sub channel for a period of time before it eventually moved over to linear television. I have a question. First of all, how does a Bananas game go long? Isn't it like isn't there a script?
Well, you gotta
I don't know,
throw that pitch in there 6 or 7 times to get the batter to do the right TikTok bit or something. I don't know.
I guess. But here's the thing I wanted to bring up. I have now seen more baseball people publicly roll their eyes at the Savannah Bananas. It's starting to become more mainstream in the baseball community, to look at the Savannah Bananas and say, ugh, what the hell is this? What is going on?
You were a trailblazer, Connor.
Before, there was a counterculture to this. This did not exist as much in the mainstream because they were having fun, and who am I to not let the kids have fun?
Right.
At baseball games of all things.
They're
Look
on
at
the
what
TikTok.
They did.
They're over there.
They recreated and reinvented baseball and made it cool for children. I mean, look at this amazing thing that they did. And God forbid if anybody looked at them and said, oh my, this is disgusting. This is gross what they're doing. Or I don't like this. Or I don't like that they exist. Nobody was allowed to say that. But now people are starting to say it.
Connor said it years ago, and people were like, Connor, what's the big
Let
deal?
the kids have fun.
They're just the Harlem Globetrotters. It's harmless.
There's a place for this. It is obviously still not popular to roll your eyes at them in the eyes of the general public. But it's getting more and more popular to do so in the baseball community. I've just heard a more vocal crowd over the last couple months, just say, really? Like, we're gonna push a super regional game 2 on, that's just one example. But why do I need to care about this? And there's 2 teams, like, what? You go ahead and have your thing, have your fun, but please do not step into my territory. Well, now they've kind of stepped into the territory a little bit. And so I think we've seen the events that could precipitate a baseball culture war. It's coming, Josh. I think it was always going to be this way. It was always going to come to a head eventually. As the Savannah Bananas continue to gain steam and popularity across the country and sell out NFL stadiums, now there will be more people who come out and say, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. And so they're going to start. I mean, they had it on the bottom of the screen in the corner during all the super regional games over the weekend. In the bottom right corner on ESPN. Hey, on ESPN tonight, it's the Savannah Bananas against the Party Animals at whatever o'clock, live from Charlotte. Last week it was Fenway Park or whatever it might have been. And so now there's a bit of a cross section. There's kind of
that's the push and pull of this, right? Because ESPN is going to think, well, you're watching baseball, you must like the Savannah Bananas because that is also baseball. But if you ask a person who actually likes baseball, none of whom work at ESPN, they'll tell you those 2 things are not the same audience.
Yeah. So I'm all for people having their fun. I just want to prepare people this is about to get really loud and it's about to get really public. And my guess would be the Bananas guy, the yellow suit guy. He's like he's going to end up going for like the throat. He's going to go after baseball. Hey, if you want to be more popular, then why not you just be like me a little bit? That's what he's going to say. You guys are hemorrhaging fans all over the country. And yet you look around and we are turning people down to get into our games. We are turning people down to get into our games. That's what he'll say. And it's going to make some noise. And this is going to be a conversation point. I'm just telling you this right now.
I wonder if there will be any ads for the Savannah Bananas during the College World Series.
You will see children running around the Chuck box in the surrounding areas with Savannah Bananas jersey.
June 28th at Nationals Park on ESPN2. Watch the Savannah Bananas. July 5th at Fenway. There might be some advertising during the College World Series for these things. Back-to-back nights in Baltimore in August.
Oh, yeah, they'll sell it out. The whole thing. They'll be there.
They'll come back from commercial break. They'll pan the camera on this group of children all wearing Savannah Bananas jerseys, and they'll go,
It'll be the same kid who was winking at the camera of Coastal Carolina in 2016. And he'll just be an adult now, and he has a Savannah Bananas jersey on.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready. Just get ready.
This is coming.
Cody writes in.
Hi, Cody.
I've been rolling my eyes at all of baseball for the last 37 years.
There you go.
Glad to see you getting on board. Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
Writes in, Savannah Bananas would be so fun to take my son to. Outside of that, no thanks.
That's the exact way I feel. Like, I don't want to show him that because then I'll show him baseball and he'll just be like, I want ice cream in a big helmet.
And Chris writes in, poll question, was Connor right about the Savannah Bananas? I'm not taking a victory lap yet.
Okay.
I'm not taking
Not yet.
I just, people are joining my side. That's all.
I do think you're right about the guy in the banana costume. He's getting a little too big for his britches that are on stilts.
He loves telling people what he's done.
He's going to come after baseball at some point. Our game in Nashville drew more than the Orioles and the Diamondbacks on Sunday Night Baseball.
They'll do a thing like at the end of the year and say like our 20 game slate beat all of Major League Baseball for 162 games or something like that. You know, they'll do some graphic at the end.
He'll somehow, some way end up in the same place at the same time as Rob Manfred, and he'll say something like, you know, if a fan catches it, that's an out. You should try
Rob
it.
Manfred would say, that's a great idea.
Try it.
I love that. That's a great idea.
You're always working on your golf game. What if we did golf during a baseball game? I'm just saying.
Yep. TikToks. The answer is always TikToks. Little John writes on the Equitable Bank inbox.
Lil John?
Yeah. Not Lil John and the East Side Boys. Little John.
Oh, hi, Little John.
I'm a baseball sicko. I made me miss a dozen Royals games on TV throughout the season. Wow, that is a lot. I watch a lot of non-Royals games on MLB Network afterwards, too. I cheer the Bananas on because it can only help. Bring it on. But what about when the Bananas and baseball are butting heads?
They no longer want to coast on baseball's success because they feel they can surpass it.
This is coming. Get ready. We'll be back. Speaking of baseball, reaction, overreaction, coming up on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. It's time for baseball reaction, overreaction. We got baseball reaction, overreaction, not MLB, although they're mostly MLB topics. Baseball.
And the graphic on the screen is
That's okay.
MLB reaction.
That's okay.
overreaction.
Speaking of, I need to get this video.
A video?
Yeah, we're gonna use a video today.
Wow. Will it require sound?
Not necessarily, unless you want.
Is it the catch from the A's game last night?
It is.
That's a pretty sweet catch.
It's a good catch. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
At least the writers want to.
Yeah,
Josh.
they're back from their Red Rocks peyote week.
Well,
I don't know what it is they do when they're off.
yeah. Were you gone last week when we did this segment?
Where would I have been? But yes.
You were watching your kid because there was the day of school.
Oh yeah, my wife was still in school and my child wasn't.
That's right.
The hell did I do? Oh yeah, I cleaned the house.
Nice. That's a great day.
Mhm.
It's a great day.
Yeah.
So I read the topics last week, and so Josh is back and he can read them now.
Topic number 1 from our esteemed writers. Aaron Judge would save the home run derby.
All right, so people do this like in the dunk contest,
Mhm.
and they're like, why don't you just get Ja Morant and LeBron and whoever to do the dunk contest?
That's right.
Aaron Judge has been on this thing over the last couple of years where he says he will never do the home run derby unless it's in New York. I don't know why he says this, but he keeps saying it.
Because it's the only place he'd be cheered?
Judge told Newsday when asked about doing the home run derby
What's Newsday?
last week, he says, nope, same answer, only if it's in New York. Now, I don't think Citi Field or Yankee Stadium is on the books for an all-star game anytime soon. So basically, Aaron Judge is telling us that he's never going to do the home run derby, which is fine. That's the whole point of this. I don't really care if he does the home run derby or not. It doesn't attract me one way or the other if he does or doesn't do it.
No. Wow, there's really only 2 of these on the books?
Yeah, we've been doing
Atlanta
it.
this year and Philly next year? That's
Philly
it?
next year, yeah. 2027 is expected to be at Wrigley, but it's not been announced.
Okay.
Not been announced yet.
Huh.
And by the way, they still don't do the thing. They don't do the thing anymore where they do AL/NL alternate because apparently it doesn't matter anymore because it doesn't decide the World Series anymore. Classic. Way to go, Rob Manfred. So no, I don't care whether Aaron Judge is in the home run derby or not. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I think this is a overreaction. Aaron Judge would not save the home run derby.
Does it need saving?
I don't think I think they could really.
Would it bump a huge
I think
number?
they should really straighten out the whole time, the whole timing and rules thing.
It's very long.
It's very long.
As a viewer, I'm like exhausted for the players.
Well, yeah, they're swinging so much and they have to swing so fast in such a short period of time. I don't know. I kind of like the old 10 outs thing, but that was the way I grew up with it. So, no, I don't think Aaron Judge would save it.
Topic number 2. This one, a college topic.
College.
LSU will once again dominate the Jello Shot Challenge in Omaha.
I'm going to say, and we talked about this with Allan earlier. I'm going to say overreaction. All right, hear me out.
Oh,
hear me out. So LSU 2 years ago when they were here and they won the College World Series, people forget Paul Skeens, Dylan Cruz, Livy Dunn, Tommy Tanks, things of that nature. Right.
Also, there's like 6 Tommy Tanks now. Like,
I know.
Stop it.
Tommy White was the original. I don't know if he was the original one, but he's my Tommy Tanks.
Exactly. Thank you. Proceed. I'm sorry.
So that team had so much star power, and it seemed like it was their destiny to win the thing. Right? They had so much star power, obviously led by Skeens, but their entire lineup, they were a fun team, right? LSU, I can't remember before that how long it was. I believe it was a few years since they were last in, and they were kind of hungry, right? Like, we need to win this thing. All right. Because they were sort of the team of destiny. They don't have that to them this year. They're really good. They have a lot of stars. They have a potential top 5 pick who's going to be their, the starting pitcher in game 1. And like, they're really, really, really good. But they just won it 2 years ago, and we're talking about how many fans make their way up. How hungry are you? I just think the fervor for LSU around here will just be a little tamped down compared to what it was 2 years ago. So, with that being said, I can't tell you that they're not going to win it because they, as we mentioned previously, they love drinking. But the team that fits all of those descriptors that I just said is Arkansas. And that is only 6 hours away. And they also love drinking. Dominate is a strong word. I can't tell you who's going to win. I think there's a chance that Arkansas could beat them in the Jello Shot game.
Connor, you got to factor in Todd Graves, Raising Cane's CEO.
I know.
He's just going to buy the competition.
This shouldn't count.
I would agree.
How about get the Walmart guy or the Tyson Chicken guy to buy a bunch of shots? Buy 1 million shots.
Now
look, we broke the record.
Now, that would be an interesting, weird...
Rich guy
chicken war if the Tyson chicken guy came and battled the Raising Cane's chicken guy
interesting.
For Jello Shot supremacy.
Get Jera to do it. Jera loves spending money.
Yes.
Not on football players.
This isn't football?
Nope. This isn't football. This is Jello Shots.
You
hear me?
I subscribe to the narrative in which you have created.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if that's how it will play out in the real world. I want it to play out that way in the real world, but I just feel like
I'll admit that I'm going out on a bit of a limb here.
And you got to factor in what team are the citizens of Omaha going to attribute their Jello Shot to? Because we in Omaha, we like to play the
I
Jello.
think there's some Arkansas love around here.
Oh, definitely.
Dave Van Horn.
It's going to go there. It's going to go to LSU. Probably going to go to Murray State.
If Dave Van Horn doesn't win a championship on the field, he could win a championship in the Jello Shot competition and still retire.
It's a title is a title, is it not?
Exactly. I don't know. Watch out. Watch out. I don't think it's over. It's not over before it begins.
Interesting take here from the writers. I'd like to know more. Take number 3. Nobody will reach 3,000 career hits again.
Manny Machado is on the way to getting to 2,000 hits.
Because he's hit 1,700 this week, right?
He's a few. Yeah, he's
been
so
a little bit of a tear.
He's like Hansel. He's 22 hits shy at the moment of 2,000 hits. He is 32 years old. You think, all right, let's get 200 hits a year, right? 200 hits a year is really, really, really good. But are those guys going to do that when they get to age 33, 34, 35, 36? Probably not. They probably, the general career path for players now is eventually they end up becoming high strikeout, high walk, high power guys, at the end of their career. Not exactly a situation that is tailor-made to get to 3,000 hits or get a bunch of hits in a season in general. The active leading hits getter career right now is Freddie Freeman. Josh will never root against Freddie Freeman.
Never. Can't make me.
35 years old, and he has 2,340. He'll not be getting there.
I wouldn't think so.
Nor will Jose Altuve, who's second, nor will Andrew McCutchen, who's third, nor will Paul Goldschmidt, who's fourth. And then, Machado would have to keep this type of consistency up for 7 or 8 more years in order to get there. Read a story about this on The Athletic last night. And one of the quotes that stood out to me was from your boy, Josh.
My boy?
Mr. Mike Schilt.
Oh.
Manny Machado, Freddie Freeman, they came from a different era with a different philosophy and a different skill set on how to approach hitting, and they've been able to survive. And yeah, their talent's extraordinary, but it's not so extraordinary that other people can't follow it. In the industry, including at the amateur level, is tripled up with where you're just devaluing the hit. It's not as valued as highly. I followed this trend as soon as we started to get into more of the pull approach, the pull the ball in the air, 3 outcome game. Just every year I started tracking that in 2010, started to see the decrease in average versus increase in strikeouts versus pure number of hits. And it was stark. As far as the number of guys who could get to 2,000 versus 3,000, it's going to become even more stark. Basically, what the article was suggesting was we might not have very many guys left who get to 2,000. Manny Machado may be the last guy to reach 2,000, which is shocking. 3,000 and 3,000 hits is still like the number for me. 300
Right.
wins. Nobody's getting 300 wins again.
Francisco Lindor's about halfway there. He's 31.
Yep.
I saw some other young guys. Like Carlos Correa's at 1,200. He's 30. I mean, Rafael Devers is 28. He's at 1,100.
I don't know if his career from his body standpoint will age very well.
Aaron Judge, 33. He's at 1,100.
I mean, it's possible that we see a revolution of the, like we're seeing some young guys come up right now who are real, you got to have a certain amount of speed and then be able to handle the bat well, put the ball in play, don't strike out very much, like Bobby Witt Jr., So maybe down the line, we're talking about him being on pace for that if he keeps up the current pace he's on right now. But just the way that the hit has been devalued, probably not going to happen much anymore.
Ozzy Albies got to 1,000 last night. He's 28.
He's fast. Not getting 3,000.
No, I wouldn't think so. Take number 4. Playing videos from old games to taunt visiting players is Bush League.
This is Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw famously in Game 4 of the 2014 NLDS against the St. Louis Cardinals gave up a go-ahead 3-run home run to Matt Adams. The homer ultimately clinched the series for St. Louis, beat the Dodgers 3-2 to advance to the NLCS. The video upon Clayton Kershaw's start in St. Louis over the weekend was played on a loop several minutes over and over and over again while Clayton Kershaw was warming up. Kershaw didn't take too kindly to the video, telling LA-based reporters after the game, including Jeff Jones of MLB.com, quote, "I think it's a little Bush League, but I don't expect anything less from these guys, so it's no worries." Now, great take on the Cardinals being jerks, first of all.
Right.
But do I have a problem with this? I do not.
It is not Bush League.
Clayton Kershaw, a little soft in this category.
I mean, you were Clayton Kershaw. You know what you were until you won a World
Sorry,
Series.
man. Like, you're going to get dunked on.
Yeah.
That's just the whole, that's part of the deal right
Tell
now.
him, hey, I was in an episode of New Girl with Prince. Like,
that's right. He was in that episode.
People forget.
Totally the B star in that episode.
Take number 5, the last take.
Yep.
Denzel Clark made a top 10 catch of all time last night.
Let's find out. Let's take it to the video if you're watching along with us on YouTube.
And this one to center field. Denzel Clark on the move back after he stepped towards home plate and makes another catch.
Oh my God!
Back-to-back weeks where he wins the electric play of the week, and he's already on the leaderboard for this week.
You go ahead and book it. I've heard the list. I've seen the list of the greatest catches you're ever going to see in your life. If you don't have room for this one on your list, we're watching two different sports. I mean, Denzel Clark climbs the ladder and then hangs out. You want to talk about playing above the rim, folks. This ball is out of the ballpark by 5-6 feet, and Denzel says, nay, nay, give me that back.
Can we talk about his first at being in?
No, we can't. Sorry.
Nay, nay.
All right. So that's
not a thing people say.
That is Jenny Kavdar and Dallas Braden on the call. We can keep the broadcast commentaries to the side if we
That's
want.
right.
That's a different overreaction
Not
topic.
today. Satan. Not
Okay,
today.
that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah.
That was a great catch.
It's not quite Bo Jackson scaling the wall, but
do you think it'll sit like, for whatever reason, that Gary Matthews Jr. catch dead center in Texas? This is probably 15 years ago now. That maybe more. That one always is like, oh my God, because he went back. Or how about the Jim Edmonds diving directly back in center field in Kansas City? Like Torrey Hunter robbing, Sam tweets in about Torrey Hunter robbing home runs like this. I don't think it's that. Now, is it one of the coolest and smoothest plays that I've seen? Probably. Because the ease at which Denzel Clark did that and brought it back, tossed it back into the infield, the whole thing, that was pretty slick.
It's cool, right?
I don't know if it's the best
there are
degree
better
of
catches.
difficulty,
Yeah.
but it is one of the cooler ones that I've seen. Still definitely not as cool as the Gary Matthews Jr. one, though.
Try not to do recency bias, but boy, it feels like you're going to see that one between now and the end of time, right?
Yeah. That'll probably, my guess would be that'll end up being like number one on when they do the MLB recaps at the end of the year on MLB Network, the top 100 plays of the year or whatever. My guess is we have a number one, but I'm not totally convinced of that. It's very possible we have a better play than that this year. I'm gonna downplay it a little bit. I'm sorry.
So here's where the downplay comes. Like, it's the Athletics, it's Denzel Clark. Are we going to remember either of those are things in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years?
There is why would I remember Gary Matthews Jr.? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was a hell of a catch. But I that's the only thing I know Gary Matthews Jr. except for being Gary Matthews' son, I guess.
Well, it's right there in the name.
All right, so I'm going to go overreaction.
Okay.
On that one. Overreaction. All right, quick break. Back after this to update you on some things that are going on in the Happer household.
Oh, no.
No. Not a bad thing.
Oh, okay.
1620 The Zone. All right. So yesterday was, half doing College World Series prep and half kind of working on the show a little bit. And my wife comes in the office, in the study.
Classy.
Many leather-bound books.
Mm-hmm. Smells of rich mahogany,
Smells
I imagine.
of rich mahogany. No. It's just a computer screen and a desk and an office that we share. But she came in and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know, just kind of, doing a various amount of things at one time, trying to focus on one thing." And then I said, "What do you think we should talk about tomorrow on the show?" And boy, did she have an answer.
Now, do you normally ask her this, or was this unusual of you?
It's not uncommon.
Okay.
It's not uncommon.
And she had something for you.
She did.
Okay.
She did, yeah. And she said, "You should talk about Love Island." And I said, "Please, tell me more."
I am aware that this is a TV show.
So here are the notes that I've received on Love Island. I literally typed these as she was telling me last night. And then she sent me a couple clips, which were abhorrent. Here are the notes. This show is on 6 out of 7 days a week, apparently.
That's a lot of
days.
They
just record these people all the time. These may be out of order, so forgive me. They all speak in TikTok language, so you can't really understand them. They just speak in TikTok sounds and words. Who is they? I'm sure you're wondering.
Yes. Among many other things.
So, as far as I understand it, it's like a regular summer house type of show, right? Where they gather up a bunch of young people, both men and women, and they put them in a house for a little while and then just kind of see what happens. But there's specific twists to this one. They have to pick someone, each of the people have to pick someone that they're attracted to and then sleep with them for a week. And then they shuffle it up. And they're like, "Here we go. We're gonna reshuffle and everybody's free now." And then they bring in new bombshells to shake things up. Eventually, two more new hot people will walk in the room, and all the people will say, "Oh my God,
that's a hottie!
That's a hottie! I have to make out with that person. That kid, that's awesome." And so that's the twist to this show. So they also do, this is once again, just collecting all this on the fly. They also do challenges, which presents a great opportunity for people to make out with other people. Like she sent me one where they were playing baseball, and every time they got to a base, they had to make out with the person that they were.
It's like beer league softball, but with making out.
Exactly. In the mornings, they make breakfast for the girls because the girls are putting on 10 pounds of makeup. That's one of the things that they do on the show.
Your wife said that?
Yes.
Want to be crystal clear.
They did. That's what
about
just
who's
said.
commenting on the women.
And then I did get a quote. I was able to get a quote.
A poll quote.
From my wife. Yeah. And here it is. Quote, "It's actually really, really weird."
Yes.
But apparently this is on 6 out of 7 days a week, and she watches a lot of it.
Am I allowed to ask questions? Understanding that you probably don't have the answer?
Of course.
What is the goal? Do we eliminate
I don't
people
think there's
from
a
the
winner.
house?
I don't think there's a winner. It might be to find love.
Okay.
It's called Love Island, after all.
It's right there in the name, I
Yeah.
guess. Sure. What if the other person, I assume this is all consensual? Like I don't know. If Julie's at the top of my list and I'm at the bottom of hers, like it's a no-go. Like takes two keys to turn this submarine.
I would think that they have to abide by laws.
Okay.
Yes. Right.
This is not international waters, Love Island.
At the same time, you're all in a house and stuff might happen. I don't know.
All right.
There doesn't seem to be much relational constraints between these people.
Is there a prize? Is there money?
I wish I would have asked these questions.
Okay.
I wish I would have.
That's fine.
I just gathered all the information that I could and then presented it as it was presented to me.
Please point your wife to this segment and have her tweet me the answers or text me.
Is there a prize? And is there any other things that you want? I'll come back with the answers tomorrow.
Consent is important. Yes or no?
Okay. All right.
I don't think I really have a lot more than that.
Okay. Are you interested in the show at all? Has she sold you?
Like one episode, yes. I would like to. I want to get my bearings of this show for one reason, for whatever reason.
People like, and by people I mean my wife, likes garbage television. Now, she might say that I like garbage television.
Yeah, I watch a lot of crap.
I watch a lot of garbage television.
You watch whatever you want to watch. I'm
Sports.
not judging.
Yeah, 100%.
Mike says, I have an opinion. Temptation Island greater than Love Island.
Really? I don't know what that means. That sounds worse.
That was a show back in the 90s on Fox.
Okay.
Big Fox. And it was, hey, here's 12 people on an island. We're going to let them bone each other.
Nice.
That was pretty much
That's
it.
usually the premise behind all of these shows. I did watch when COVID happened this was like somewhere probably after Tiger King and like before The Last Dance.
Okay. We were looking for our next Tiger King.
It was Love is Blind.
That's a popular one.
And that is apparently rolling on into several seasons now. There are both positive and negative stories about the Love is Blind couples who have either not survived or survived marriage. Now that game is full of bits.
Oh.
They don't see each other until they ask to marry. And then they are wed. And that is the first time they see each other literally in their lives.
You want to get to know the real person.
That's the idea. They all drink out of weird cups. Out of all these shows, they drink out of weird cups.
Like on American Idol, where
drinking.
it's clearly a branded cup.
They're always drinking. They're always drinking out of something. In the Love is Blind case, they have weird cups. They look like chalices.
I'd like to read from the Wikipedia page for Love Island, if I may.
Sure.
Love Island involves a group of contestants referred to as Islanders. First of all, problematic.
Definitely.
Reading on. Living in isolation from the outside world in a villa, constantly under video surveillance. To survive in the villa, the Islanders, again, problematic, must be coupled with another Islander, whether it be for love, friendship, or survival, as the overall winning couple receives $100,000.
There you go. Just got that email from John, who says this is filling up a lot of space on his DVR right now. I don't know how they name the winning couple, but they do get $100,000.
So it sounds like a little like musical chairs, but with
how do you
people.
win? You survive. You're just alive.
You have to stay in a couple. Now you can recouple. It says throughout the course of the show.
Okay.
At several different points.
Okay.
But if you remain single, you are eliminated and dumped from the island.
Wow.
Yeah, I want one episode.
Okay.
And then
it's out there.
I don't want it to show up in my algorithm. I don't want it to suggest, hey, you watched that one island of Love Island.
No, you're gonna get that.
No.
It's too late.
I won't do it.
It's too late. I've been getting a lot of TikToks. While we're on the TikToks thing, my algorithm lately has been, somebody must have talked about the Dale Earnhardt documentary.
I heard it was good.
And so I watched a clip of that, and now my whole thing is about Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, it is.
You know what they say, Josh? Raise hell, praise Dale.
Amen.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, the dam is broken finally, in a good way. Maybe.
Oh no.
Or maybe there's a leak in it, and somebody is trying to cover it up with a piece of bubble gum, like Clark Griswold on Vegas Vacation. Rex Waterman is an offensive lineman from Chandler, Arizona, and he has committed to Nebraska to play football.
Smartest decision you'll ever make, Rex.
He committed to Nebraska over UCLA.
That's in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. And also had offers to Duke, Boise State, and Arizona State. He also took a visit to Boise State as well. So he took official visits to Nebraska, UCLA, and Boise State. And Nebraska gets the commitment from the Waterman. Not the Water Boy.
Nope.
The Waterman.
Did
Any
Mike
takes, Josh?
Mike asks in the chat, was he a Dylan teammate?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about 2 years separation, and he wasn't playing in Arizona after it. No, I don't know what high school Dylan went to, actually.
Many.
No, but like the one in Arizona specifically. This one is from Hamilton High School, Mr. Waterman.
Okay.
He's from Hamilton High School in Chandler, Arizona. I doubt it. That'd be my answer to that question. There you go. They got the Waterman.
They got him.
Finally, Nebraska gets a commit off of the 2026 class. Falling behind a little bit.
This kid is how old? I'm sorry.
He will be a senior in high school this year.
This photo of him, he looks like a 10-year NFL vet. He looks weathered.
That's good.
Rugged.
Poll question: do you like your offensive lineman weathered?
Okay. I do.
Like
for the
Creed,
record.
like Creed said, do you like them rusted and weathered? I'm rusted and weathered. Yeah. That whole album was called Weathered,
It
right?
was, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a Photoshop right there. Put Rex Waterman's face on the Creed album, Weathered.
Right. Talk amongst yourselves while I whip that up.
It's done. All right. Sounds good. By the way, speaking of the College World Series, got a tweet earlier from Sam. Sam writes in,
Hi, Sam.
will the Arkansas fans be mean to me if I fly my Creighton flag at the Lot D tailgate after the Great Maui Meltdown? Now, I don't know. There is some Arkansas Creighton history now. Remember, they played in a regional like 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
In baseball. But as I've mentioned before in the show, everybody was very nice and cordial at that situation. There was no conversation about the things that Trey Alexander did in that game or, whatever it might be.
Again, because Creighton wasn't a threat.
That's kind of how I took it. Everybody was very nice. I don't think they were probably very nice to Tennessee this weekend. And I would imagine that, maybe, Sam, you could go to the print shop and get like a half Creighton, half Arkansas. And if you do this, if you saddle up with Arkansas, you're also throwing another shot at Alabama. The great Creighton-Alabama rivalry.
That's right. Greatest rivalry in sports. They hired Marcus Zagorowski. Unbelievable. The nerve.
And they might play each other in the mega NIL tournament this year. Who knows? So I think you'll be okay. That'd be my guess. I think you'll be okay. All right. 1 o'clock hour here, the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Josh, off-season topic of the day here in college football. I have for you. Oh, why did I
for me
link that? I linked the wrong thing on that. Let me find it real quick. The first K-Ford rankings.
K-Ford.
The first K-Ford rankings of 2025. Wow. Preseason V1. This will be the base upon all of the predictions for the rest of the season. If you are K Ford build like many of us are around here.
How could you not be?
How could you not be? Texas, number 1. Nebraska, just kidding. Nebraska, number 28. 28, Josh. Almost top 25. But you might notice if you look at the K Ford graphic, which was put on X yesterday, and his website, I think it's kfordratings.com. Nebraska, 1 spot in front of Iowa. So another of the questions that, was talking about Nebraska football big picture yesterday on that podcast. And it's good to, in my defense, I like to go on those podcasts because they ask me questions and then I start thinking about stuff in ways that, it just kind of trips my brain in the right way. Yeah, it helps me do this show.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's my excuse. Anyway. So we were talking about the schedule a little bit, and I kind of noticed, or I stumbled upon the idea that Nebraska's schedule is not as like bottom heavy as it was last year. Remember last year with that first 5 or 6 game run up, and it was like, hey man, they're going to be 6-0 going to Indiana or whatever it was. They ended up being 5-1 going to Indiana because they pooped their pants against Illinois. So that was, they had a nice, easy run up to get to that point. And then, of course, it was very difficult in the back end. USC, UCLA, you had Iowa, Wisconsin, and a couple more. You had Ohio State in there, and then you had Purdue as well. That one turned out okay. And then Indiana, of course, as well. So that was a challenge in and of its own right. Nebraska had to sort of, maneuver through those last year. This year does not quite seem like that to me. I mean, it's sort of spread out relatively evenly. Don't get me wrong. It's still a relatively difficult row to go for Nebraska, especially considering what they haven't done consistently over, for a long time now. But you're looking at that first game again, and then you're looking at Michigan. And not that there's any breaks in conference, but there's nothing like, oh boy, man, this back-to-back, with the exception of the end of the season, the short break in between Penn State and Iowa. Penn's coming back from Penn State on the road.
We'll get to the chunkies.
And then playing on the, Black Friday, short rest, all that stuff. But outside of that, I don't look at like, oh boy, you got this like 3-week stretch that's just you're going to take a pounding during this time. I don't really see that this year. That could be advantageous for Nebraska. So I think part of this, part of the excitement potentially is that, the schedule kind of worked out for them. It's not particularly difficult. We don't exactly know what Michigan is going to be. Nebraska's, I don't look at USC and UCLA as these like unbeatable teams. They'll be able to have some success probably against Maryland, Minnesota, and Northwestern. Like when we do the chunkies, one of the things we'll probably mention is, you got to beat the teams that you're kind of supposed to beat, and that you're like probably 4 to 3 to or 2.5 to 5 point favorites against. And I would say like Minnesota, Northwestern, and Maryland, Minnesota, and Northwestern will probably be in that category. So if you can get past them, then there's a real path to get to where you want to go this year. That all came from me looking at the K Ford ratings last night. So that's how my brain works. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Ohio State 3, Penn State 5, Oregon 6, Michigan 14, USC 21, and Indiana 25, Illinois 26, Nebraska 28, Iowa 29. Still not particularly high on Indiana and Illinois, but I know people are really, really going to enjoy. People really like when Illinois is at the top of their game for whatever reason.
Oh, Illinois is the sexy, trendy pick.
They really are, like the darling of college football, I guess, this year. Anyway, that's the K Ford ratings. You guys could check those out if you want to. Didn't get to this earlier. Deion Sanders. What's going on with Coach Prime?
Coach Prime.
He has been ill and out of the office recently, according to Heather Dinich of ESPN. I think it was originally reported by USA Today. Sanders has been at his estate in Texas dealing with a unspecified health issue as the school's annual summer football camps began last week. A timetable for his return is unknown, but Sunday, his eldest son, Deion Sanders Jr., shocking, he appeared on a YouTube video from his Texas home and said that his father was, quote, feeling well. Quote, he'll tell y'all soon enough what he's going through, what he went through. When we get back to Boulder, I don't know. I'm waiting until my dad leaves. When he leaves, then I'll go. Until then, I'm going to sit here with him. He missed an event where he was supposed to be in Florida over the weekend, speaking at a educational symposium, and he canceled his appearance then. And of course, Deion Sanders is no stranger to, health issues over the last several years now. Of course, the toes that have been amputated, which stemmed from blood clots from a previous surgery. And then he had another set of blood clots removed, missing, that caused him to miss Pac-12 media days. Remember that? When it his first year in Colorado in 2023, right before his first media days at Colorado.
Those blood clots are no joke, man.
Yeah, that's a real deal. You got to take care of that stuff. So hopefully Coach Prime is doing okay. I want to see that guy healthy. There's a lot of intrigue just to see what they're going to be like this year.
Right.
And I think he's, been generally pretty good for the game. Definitely brought attention to Colorado football and stuff like that. Maybe it's the right kind of attention. Maybe it's the wrong kind of attention. Maybe you don't care, but you definitely want to see him healthy. So the best goes out to, of course, Deion Sanders. We'll be back. A few more things to get to. By the way, Josh has made the graphic of Rex Waterman, who appears to be on the album cover with Scott Stapp and the other guy from Creed, and he is weathered.
He looks weathered.
Nice job, Josh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Mike writes in on YouTube. Have any of you watched the Jury Duty show where everyone was fake except for the one guy? That was a pretty funny series. By fake, I mean actors. No, I saw a lot of clips of it when it was happening. Because wasn't...
It was James Marsden.
James Marsden. Yes, James Marsden. You didn't watch it either?
I didn't. I thought, like, right as it was ending, I was like, okay, maybe this is worth a little investment in my time, and I just didn't.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first thing that I would go to, but I don't know. It did seem like an interesting idea, and I like a concept, that's for sure. Speaking of a concept, the Athletics, not the Oakland Athletics, the Athletics, have announced that they will break ground on their new Las Vegas ballpark 2 weeks from yesterday. They'll get the fake shovels out, they'll get the shiny shovels out, and they'll dig them into the ground that used to be the Tropicana Hotel, right across from the MGM Grand.
So this is happening.
They're going to build a ballpark. And then they're going to probably go to that ballpark. Yeah.
Okay.
This is happening. They've been clearing out the land for quite some time now, and they're finally going to put shovel to dirt in 2 weeks, apparently. So good luck.
Interesting.
Hopefully there's only 1 or 2 more seasons in Sacramento for the Athletics. Sacktown. Aptly named. It's doesn't seem that fun to be playing for the Athletics right now. By the way, who started really hot this season and then have been really, really bad since.
Yeah.
But they did have that cool catch last night.
They did.
It was cool.
They'll always have that.
And a great call on television.
A call was made for that play.
That's right. That's right. That will live
Can't take that away
baseball history. Today, the NCAA has something that they would like to remind us of.
Oh.
Number one, that they still exist.
Okay.
And number two, they have been collecting data. They love collecting data at the NCAA.
My data?
Kind of. If you fall into a certain category. Let me explain.
Okay.
The NCAA has released the summary analysis from this year's Division I men's and women's basketball study, which monitored public comments targeting the online profiles of student athletes, coaches, officials, and committee members associated with the men's and women's basketball tournaments.
I got a push notification about this today from ESPN, and my eyes glazed over while I was reading the headline, and I swiped it away.
I just wanted to...
But yeah, I'm sure you have dug through and found the interesting nugget.
Yeah, well, okay. Here, I do have that for you. So throughout the tournaments, they hired this company called Signify, and that monitored social media accounts across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to identify targeted online abuse. One player also used the Threat Matrix automated direct message service to receive further protection from harassment.
Whoa.
Yeah, they have a bot. I don't understand that really. Across the March Madness project, Threat Matrix monitored the accounts of over 2,000 players, 2,032 players, 346 coaches, 136 teams, and 269 game officials and selection committee members. More than 1 million posts and comments that mentioned players, teams, officials, and stakeholders involved in March Madness were analyzed. Of the 54,000 posts and comments flagged by Signify AI for potential abuse or threat, 3,161 were confirmed as abusive or threatening by Signify human analysts. So basically what happens is they have this AI system who looks at all the tweets. A million tweets that they have flagged, right? The million tweets that they analyze. 54,000 of them were flagged as hey, this is potentially dangerous here.
Mm-hmm.
3,000 of those were analyzed by, they were all analyzed by humans, and then 3,000 of them were confirmed as being abusive or threatening by real human people. These messages were reported to the relevant social media platforms and, where necessary, sent to law enforcement, leading to restrictions on social media accounts and abusive posts removed from the platform. Signify conducted 103 investigations into accounts posting threatening content and referred 10 matters to law enforcement. Now, the numbers there are interesting. We monitor all of Twitter, all of everything, and we found that 10 cases could be passed along to law enforcement. Was this worth it?
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's just one of the questions.
Is there a breakdown between men's and women's?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I can tell you what they analyzed from the 2024 tournament and then to the 2025 tournament. On the women's side, total abuse was down 83% year over year. I wonder why. I wonder why.
We got to that Caitlin Clark thing.
This is the Caitlin Clark thing. And betting related abuse on the women's side year over year declined 66%.
I did not do that intentionally.
So with less attention on your sport, there is less abuse. That's a win. On the men's side, total abuse increased 140%.
Cool.
While abuse related to sports betting decreased 36%. Across all participants, abuse relating to sports betting was down 23%.
That's because it was a very chalky tournament.
It
so
was.
you wouldn't be mad if the team you bet on.
I can't believe you lost to a 15 seed. Well, that didn't happen this year, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, there's your stats, Josh.
Wow.
There's your stats.
Okay. Thank you for summarizing that.
You're very welcome. Thank you to the NCAA and Signify AI for bringing that to. What's this?
Connor, the world continues to heal itself.
What's this about?
Day in, day out.
Is it about Rex Waterman again?
No. Joey Chestnut and Major League Eating are talking about a return.
Oh, that's right.
To Coney Island
that
for the 4th of July.
Josh, this was predicted by you instantaneously upon Joey Chestnut's divorce.
That might be why I'm bringing it to everyone's attention.
We had did we have the hot dog guy on last year?
I feel like we did.
We got to get him on the books again.
Yeah,
it's almost time.
It is. I always have to do that early.
Yeah.
Because he's very busy.
George Shea.
Yeah.
Well, he always comes on with us, though.
He does. Because I ask so early.
Yeah, I guess. Get him on the books.
He can make his return to Coney Island this summer.
Or we could try and get him on early and maybe break the news that Joey Chestnut is coming back to Coney Island.
Hey, we have a relationship. We have done this for years now. You were a friend.
We were
of
here
the show.
both before
Yes.
and after Joey Chestnut, the divorce.
We didn't leave you in the lurch when Joey left you.
We were going to call you.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes. Both sides negotiating on a return to the hot dog eating contest.
That's very interesting.
As maybe that Netflix one didn't go so well last year. Or maybe it did. I don't know.
Joey Chestnut was just in the news for eating something. What
Popcorn.
That's right. That's right. For eating.
And that was the one where we were like, maybe I could.
That's right. It's like, it's not that hard to eat. You just dump it all in your mouth. That's what I do anyway.
Yeah.
Joey Chestnut trying to get back with the big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprising, Josh. Now, what happened at the Joey Chestnutless hot dog eating contest last year? I don't even remember.
Okay. Good question.
2024 hot dog eating contest.
I'm sure somebody won with a number that was.
It was Patrick Bertoletti, 58 dogs and buns.
Sounds made up.
A guy named Jeff got second, and a guy named James got third. Mickey Sudo, of course, still dominating the women's side.
There are still not ratings on the Wikipedia page for last year's hot dog eating contest.
What was the whole? Why did they split up again? Because he promoted something else.
He promoted vegan hot dog or meatless, the
Impossible
dogs.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Whoa! You're a Nathan's man."
And he said, "Actually, no, I'm not."
And then I believe he hit the big red button of eating. And said, "Why am I making the same amount of money as quite literally anyone else here?"
It happens to the best of us. Please don't let it happen to Ohio State football. That's all. Josh, before we take a break here, I would like to get your comments on the quotes from the mayor's exit interview, our former mayor.
Oh, well, I mean, she can say whatever she wants now, so.
That's one of the quotes. Great job. Quote, I can say anything I want to now was literally one of the quotes.
That's
How'd
such
you know
a
that?
weird quote because it implies I've been holding back and there's a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
So she thinks, I don't know this to be true, but according to former Mayor Gene Stothert, basically she thinks she lost because of the streetcar. Among other reasons, but that was central to the deal.
So an idea
Quote,
that the voters hadn't backed.
I'll just say this. So I'll read you this part from the World Herald story. Henry Cordes wrote that the other day. The streetcar was a major issue among voters of all stripes, she said. In her campaign's polling, many voters cited the streetcar as the reason they thought the city was on the wrong track. Quote, from
Really?
Gene
Wrong
Stothert.
track?
Quote, nice. It was pretty good. Quote, streetcar, overwhelming. They don't like it. And by they, she means us.
I don't have time to form a sentence. Just streetcar.
Streetcar.
They don't like it.
Streetcar. They don't like it. Mm-hmm.
Yet I still crammed it down your throat like a Nathan's hot dog on Coney Island at the 4th of July. We're doing this because my real estate buddies have said we need to do this.
For other voters, she said, simple fatigue set in. Quote, you're doing a good job, but let's let somebody else do it. Stothert said, that's real.
I can't combat that. Yes, she
I think that she was in there for a long time. 13 years, right?
Yeah. Did I tell you when Michael was here, his first opinion on I Have an Opinion was, I think Gene Stothart's a good mayor. And he's like,
that's coming in.
He's like, I'm going to come at you, Josh. Like the whole 2 hours, he was like, I got something.
Like, I got one for you.
Yeah. And that was the one.
And I bet your response was like, yeah, I really can't argue with you.
I was like, well, let me explain the bit to you. The bit
is kind of easy to pick on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all. She's like our Matt McMaster.
A little bit. Tiny baby mare.
So she also said, I have a whole new world opening up, and I do feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulders.
As in, I can go anywhere and they won't care?
This is not Aladdin. Because I took this job really, really seriously. She feels as if there's...
you cannot contest that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. She's on her status about... where she goes physically from here. Where will she end up? Quote, I'm not packing up and saying I'm done with Omaha. I'm not sure if Omaha loves me or not, but I do love Omaha. I will do whatever I can to make Omaha better.
Let's find a street. Let's name it after her.
And
I imagine the streetcar will run down Stothert Street.
There was another one that was like, she addressed the St. Louis allegations.
She doesn't own property there, and that's the only reason anyone would ever go anywhere is if they own property.
The 71-year-old is excited for what's next for her, including life as a regular citizen in Omaha, which, by the way, she says is her home, contrary to the social media posters like idiot Josh Hodson, who suggests she lives in St. Louis.
Direct quote.
Yep. And I'm not leaving. I'm not bleeping leaving, she said. You might think I might leave, but I'm not bleeping leaving. I am Omaha.
I don't want her to leave. I want her to see this streetcar through to the end.
Me
because
too.
Someone has to.
All right. Glad to get your comments, Josh. Thanks. Thank you. Back with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, so the polls at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed today. Let's go back to yesterday's crossover first.
Oh, yeah.
Is waving a take?
Absolutely not.
No, it's not. Nor is saying you like something.
Right. That is also not a take.
67% say no.
It's more long form.
Do you have a favorite man versus food challenge? I don't.
No. They're all the same.
71% say no. Do you like your offensive lineman to be weathered?
Hell yes.
Yeah, I do. 91% say yes.
The roughest hands.
Yeah, I like that. He's got the hair for it too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The Waterman. All right, those are our polls today, Josh. What are we watching?
Well, it's travel day in the NBA and the NHL,
so many days off.
Yeah, no wonder these things last till the 4th of July. Baseball is on our televisions tonight. TBS, the New York Yankees and the Kansas City Royals.
Boo!
6:40 start. Max Fried versus Noah no-hitter Cameron.
Hopefully he could do that, but he allows like one hit a start.
One hit a game.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. The Athletics are in Los Angeles to rob home runs from the Angels at 8:40. It's your MLB TV free game of the day. You can listen to that broadcast for free.
Wow. Cool.
Mariners Diamondbacks.
Great broadcast.
That's right. 8:40 on MLB Network. WNBA, the Chicago Sky are in New York to take on the Liberty at 7 o'clock on ESPN.
Oh, is that Angel Reese?
That is.
All right, cool.
And the defending champion Liberty.
Something always seems to happen when she plays in games.
That's right. Hulu has a new 2-part docuseries on the host of Call Her Daddy, Alex Cooper.
Oh, they were talking about this on the news earlier.
Yes, because to promote
Why
this...
on the news?
Because to promote this documentary, she has admitted some things that have happened to her in the past, which are not good.
Oh, no.
Call Her Alex is the name of that docuseries. A few movies on tonight. The Departed is on AMC at 6 o'clock.
Thank God.
If you like cranberry juice. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is on FXM at 6 o'clock. If you like feet. And School of Rock is on Paramount at 7 o'clock.
What do I need to like if I like that?
If you like Jack Black.
I do like Jack Black.
And
I love School of Rock.
And the guy who created the White Lotus, he's in there too.
Really? Who's that?
Mike White. He was the friend, the teacher friend.
Oh, he was the actual Mr. Schneebly?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
He made the White Lotus.
Yeah. And he was a former Survivor contestant.
Okay, cool. And then Jack Black becomes Ed Schneebly.
Yeah.
Mr. Schneebly.
2 of those kids got married in real life.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That
I don't know
seems weird.
I don't know what to say about that. I don't like that very much.
Yeah.
Great movie though. So is The Departed. Thank you for that. Seemed like those were picks for me, Josh.
A little bit. I didn't have anything to pick, so I picked things for you.
I appreciated it. Mm-hmm. That is it for us today. Josh, thank you for being here. And we have 2 more days until we'll never see each other again.
That's right. Never, ever again. You'll come by and say hi in the morning, and then I'll never see you again.
If you missed anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. The crossover is coming up next.